Yeah, baby! Hey, what is up, Upstate, South Carolina? How do you do? The Rob Brown Show is on your radio. This is ESPN Upstate. Happy Thursday! Good to be back with you one more time again. I am Rob Brown. The pleasure is mine. Directly across from me, the guy's in charge of the broadcast. He is the great one. Hashtag Dad Kicks, Colonel Grudge, the Alpha and the Omega of ESPN Upstate, the pinnacle of professionalism, the snotty one, ladies and gentlemen. Lonzo on the ones and twos. What up, Zo?
Yeah.
I'm not saying Lonzo has a almost zombie-esque complexion today. Let's just say that the Mother Nature is kicking him square in the hind parts right now.
I really love this time of year. I do. So I can get my bass on, talk really low, and cough my stinking head off all night.
You want to just do the whole show like this?
No, because once the chain starts and I start coughing, it's
it's over.
I might as well leave the room.
It's over. Busy day on the broadcast today. If you want to be a part of it, 844-GSP-ESPN, 844-477-3776. You can text us on the radio broadcast at 71307, 71307. Start your text with ESPN so we can read them on the air. You can tweet us at The Rob Brown Show, at Lonzo on Word, if you'd like to get in on the program in that direction. Coming up at 1 o'clock today, as we do every Thursday at 1 o'clock, we'll talk to Rashad Beard. He's the host of the Panther Nation podcast. We are going to ask him if his expectations of what this Panthers team will look like when the season is over has changed at all. Then immediately after that at 1:20 this afternoon, we'll be joined by Andrew Lord, head coach of your Greenville Swamp Rabbits. The Rabbits get their season started tomorrow evening. They are on the road for the first weekend of ice hockey. They will be back in the well next weekend. And we'll talk to Andrew Lord, head coach of the Swamp Rabbits, a little bit about his expectations for this season. A bunch of new names rocking the Ice Flyers jerseys this year. So we'll talk to Andrew Lord, head coach of the Greenville Swamp Rabbits, at 1:20. Rashad Beard of the Panther Nation podcast at 1 o'clock. And after we talk to Lordo, Lonzo and I go back to our picks. We tied up last weekend in picks, Lonzo, both of us going 8-6 on the week. So, any week you're a couple of games above 500 in the picks against the spread is a good week. Lonzo's record now at 43-41. So he's been flirting. He's been flirting with jumping above that 500 mark, and he did it this week. I had a stellar week last week, which gave the old resume a bit of a bump. 49-35 on the season is your friend Rob Brown. We'll break down last week's picks, what we got right and wrong, and then go ahead and make our picks for this weekend coming up in the back half of the 1 o'clock hour. So make sure you are around for that. With that being said, let's get the show started, shall we?
Let's do lunch.
This is a very nutritious lunch. All the food groups are represented.
You guys are here. Scuttlebutt.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here? Lunch! Lunch!
It is the lunch breakdown of 3 things you have to know before you go start talking sports with your friends, family, coworker, or the dog, whoever you spend your lunch break with. This will be the discussion, the scuttlebutt around the lunch table. Let's start with this. We'll probably interject throughout the show today, ladies and gentlemen, because Lonzo and I love nothing more than when there happens to be live sports on while we're doing the radio show. It's nice to be able to talk about games that are actually in progress. We got Wrasslin live today. We got the Wrasslin on today as WWE Crown Jewel live from Saudi Arabia is on the TV. So we'll I'm just saying, so there may or may not be wrestling discussion on the program today.
Which would be warranted because this is live and it's a big deal. And a lot of these matches don't happen very often, except for when they're paid for by, oil money or something.
I mean, technically, that's what's happening.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah. Not technically, literally, and actually, that's what's happening.
The Saudi princes probably sat down with Vince McMahon and said, "We want to see this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy," which is why Goldberg always shows up.
Correct. Exactly correct. So let's get to the lunch breakdown. 3 things you have to know before you go start talking sports with your friends, family, coworker, or the dog here on the broadcast today. And we start with item number 1. The texter writes in, as texters are wont to do, and says, Rob, don't even start that the Braves are cursed BS today. We don't need those negative vibes. You in or you out? The bandwagon is filling up quick. Why does that texter say that? Because yesterday I asked you, after the Hotlanta Braves choked away a 3-run lead late in the game in Game 3, I asked you to talk me off the ledge. The Braves talked me off the ledge for you. 9-2 winners last night in game number 4, and Atlanta takes a commanding 3-1 lead with 1 left to play in Los Angeles and a pair to finish up the series if necessary back in the ATL. The win yesterday goes to Drew Smiley. It was a bullpen game for Atlanta. They opened up the pitching opened up with Chavez on the hill, Jesse Chavez. Then they ran through a number of pitchers. Chavez went in through 1 good inning, no hits allowed, 3 ground outs. Drew Smiley came in, went 3.1, surrendered 2 hits, the only 2 Dodger runs of the night, and a pair of strikeouts to go. And then we saw Martin Mincer-Matzik and Will Smith all come in. The Braves gave up 4 hits last night, a combined 4-hitter for the Braves bullpen yesterday evening. On the flip side, Julio Urias, who was expected to be dominant, right? There was a big thing. I told you, if there was one thing the Braves had going for it, it was the fact that the bullpen for the Dodgers has been getting absolutely worked by the Atlanta Braves offense, and that you could not necessarily trust the arms out of the pen. Urias comes in, 5 innings pitched, gave up 8 hits, 5 earned runs, 2 walks, only 3 strikeouts, including 3 dingas last night. Freddie Freeman had 1 in the 3rd inning off of Urias. Eddie Rosario had 2 dingers yesterday. He had 1 in the 2nd inning off of Urias, had another one in the 9th. In fact, Rosario was at the dish, needing only a double to become, I believe, the 2nd player to hit for the cycle in the postseason in the modern era. He said, I need a double. How about I get 2 more bases? And knocks the stuffing out of the baseball. Also had a home run for Adam Duvall. Ends up with 1 as well in the 2nd inning off of Urias. And at that point, it looked like the Braves were in good standing, up 4-0 at the end of the 3rd, tacked on another one in the 5th, and then in the top of the 9th with a 5-0 lead, but knowing that the Dodgers are a team that can blank a 5-0 lead in the first 5 batters. If you're not careful, Atlanta tacked another 4 on the board to take a 9-2 lead. They would not look back. 12 hits on the night for the Bravos. That being said, your boy is optimistic. I'm riding the ride. I'm enjoying the roller coaster. But let's play a little history game here, shall we? Let's play a little history game. Those of you that are Braves fans, I want you to flash way back in time. We're going to go way back in time. All the way back to the year 2020. The Braves were in the NLCS. The Braves had a 3-1 lead in the series against the Dodgers. Can any of you remind me what happened? Want to take a stab at it? The Braves lost that series. It is not over until the Braves are popping champagne corks, okay? That's all I'm going to say. We'll talk more about that later on in the show. Item number 2 on the lunch breakdown. Rumor is reports are coming out. Oh, they actually have camels there. All right, we're bringing. All right.
Yeah, I noticed that earlier.
All
I didn't know
right.
if you had seen that.
I didn't.
I didn't want to interrupt you while you're. It's just like, okay, they're camels. I mean, it makes sense. I don't recall.
I wasn't prepared for the iconoclast Edge to come out. Then they just spin the camera around and there's camels.
I hope someone rides a camel to the ring. They got to do that.
No one will ever top Miro's tank. It is what it is. The Texans have kept Deshaun Watson on the roster all season so far. Part of the reason why was because expected the former Clemson quarterback turned Houston Texans stud, while he has over 20 lawsuits hanging over his head and potential criminal investigations in front of him. There was still talk that a trade could happen. Well, we told you 2 weeks ago that the Dolphins and the Texans, or the Texans and anybody else, had about 3 more weeks to reach an agreement to move Deshaun before he would be locked onto the roster. Well, John McClain of the Houston Chronicle is reporting that the Texans could have a deal in place with the Dolphins that would be completed by the end of this week. The trade deadline is November 2nd, and the Dolphins play the Texans on December 7th. Miami Long had been linked with Watson, who Stephen Ross, the owner of the Dolphins, reportedly has coveted the quarterback, requested a trade from Houston back in the offseason. The sides have talked on and off for months, but McClain reported that those talks have apparently intensified into serious negotiations. The Dolphins have lost 5 in a row, the most recent coming Sunday in London against the previously unwinning Jacksonville Jaguars. Unwinning. Well,
it's accurate. I mean,
it's not a word.
Yeah, well, you know.
Unwinning, says the guy who gets paid to words good. The previously winless Jacksonville Jaguars, by the way, in both of our 8-6 records this week, one of the ones we both got wrong, as a matter of fact. Lonzo jumps off the Herb Express, and then the Jags win. Maybe they're bad luck charm, Lonzo. Pick against them this week. See what happens.
I don't believe in luck. But go ahead.
The Dolphins have lost 5 in a row, the most recent coming against the Jags. Tua Tagovailoa, the second-year quarterback out of Alabama, has not worked out as hoped. 3 touchdowns, 2 picks in the 3 games he's played so far this season, though. Coming up later in the show, I'm going to tell you why I would ride with Tua right now before I brought in Deshaun. All right? I would ride with Tua before I brought in Deshaun. I'll tell you why coming up later on in the show. Item number 3 on the lunch breakdown. Down goes Coastal. Down goes Coastal. That's a bad Howard Coastal. It was a bad. Down goes Frazier.
Sounds more like Howard Cosell's wife probably would sound.
Howard! 30-27. Down go the Chanticleers of Coastal Carolina. They fall to 6-1, 2-1 in conference as Diesel's Appalachian State Mountaineers get the 30-27 dub over the Chanticleers last night. A game-winning field goal to upset the previously undefeated number 14 team in the country, Coastal Carolina. Chase Bryce for the Mountaineers last night. How about these numbers? 18 for 28, 347 yards, and a pair of touchdowns to show for it. Grayson McCall was good too. 15-23, 291, and a touchdown on the board. But where's the difference, you ask? Here's the difference, Lonzo. Appalachian State, 228 yards on the ground and a pair of rushing touchdowns. Coastal Carolina, 55 rushing yards last night. There's your ball game, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not saying every team needs to be a rushing team. If you're a good throwing team, you're a good throwing team. But 55 rushing yards when the other team's racking up 228 is not going to get it done. Not going to work against anybody.
I watched the first half of the game. It was pretty good. It wasn't it? I guess the rest of it turned out to be pretty good too.
Yeah. Coastal Carolina was up 14-0 at the end of the first quarter. Appalachian State answered with 2 touchdowns in the second. CCU put up a pair of threes before halftime. So 2014 at the half. Second half, Lonzo, Appalachian State was just bodying Coastal Carolina. just bodying Coastal Carolina. It was impressive. They were just pushing them around. Jimmy Chapel's guys just they look. The Mountaineers came out, Lonzo, ready to punch them in the face and take a few shots in the process. I was impressed with App State last night. This was not even so much a Coastal Carolina beat themselves situation. Appalachian State, this was a Super Bowl for them, right? They have not won a game over a ranked opponent since
Michigan.
Since Michigan. That's exactly right. Since they
Thank you
Michigan.
for giving me that pleasure.
Oh, yeah, I knew you wanted to say that.
Yeah.
First since 2007, they brought the guts to the field at Appy State. So down goes Coastal Carolina. And now the question is, I heard people saying for the past 4 or 5 weeks, Coastal Carolina is the best team in South Carolina. I've heard that over and over again. A, was it true then? And B, Lonzo, if Coastal and Clemson lined up today, what's your pick? Genuinely, what's your score pick if Coastal and Carolina play today? I mean, Coastal and Clemson.
Wow. Before last night, it might have been different. I can't honestly say that Clemson would be a big favorite. I just can't.
I don't think they would be. I don't think they would. Even with this loss, I don't think they would be. We're going to talk more about that later on in the show as well. Let's go run to the first break. When we come back here in just a moment from right now, the Braves did get that W last night. We'll take a walkthrough of that game as Atlanta is now 1 game away from a berth in the World Series. Can they get it done, or do they go back-to-back seasons giving up 3-1 leads? We'll address that when we come back on the Rob Brown Show at ESPN Upstate. Our friends at Harley-Davidson of Greenville want you to get into the Harley-Davidson life. I'm not talking about riding motorcycles, right? Like, you can ride a motorcycle, and that's one thing. But when you jump on the back of the piece of Americana that is Harley-Davidson, when you are rolling around the Upstate on the back of a Harley, you know that you are riding years worth of tradition and pride, and you will want to be a part of the Harley-Davidson lifestyle. And Harley-Davidson of Greenville, more than anybody else in the area, can get you hooked up with a ride, with the gear, but with so much more. When you go to Harley and you interact with Harley, you are going to see that Harley makes the entire process easy, from learning to ride, to buying your ride, to outfitting your ride, to outfitting yourself, and then riding, because they want you to be not just a customer, but a customer for life. Go into their shop at 30 Chrome Drive. Look around. You are going to see attention to detail that you're not going to see anywhere else. It's a beautiful showroom. You will not find a lick of dust anywhere in it. They put their heart and soul into making sure that when you walk into Harley-Davidson of Greenville, you know that you are getting top-notch quality treatment from Harley-Davidson of Greenville. Whatever your ride is, your style of riding, the motorcycle you want, go to upstateharley.com. Look through the brand new 2020 inventory and the largest pre-owned inventory in the Upstate. Trust me, I've been riding for 8 years, and I was blown away by Harley-Davidson of Greenville. You will be too. 30 Chrome Drive, upstateharley.com. It's Harley-Davidson of Greenville.
Presents your ESPN Upstate Sports Center updates powered by The Score. The starting lineup is set for Sunday's Cup Series race at Kansas Speedway. Kyle Larson will start from the pole. He'll be joined by Ryan Blaney in the front row. The other 6 playoff drivers being slotted in rows 2 through 4.
I'm guessing that signal affects that signal.
It might.
Jr. and Joey Logano in row 4. The schedule for the weekend: the ARCA Series and the Xfinity Saturday in front.
I don't know why I would, though, because the adapter is only plugged into the TV.
It could be coincidence, but I don't know. We'll find out later.
Correlation does not equal causation.
Well, later when you unhook this and hook the other thing back up, if the TV comes on, then we'll know that's what it was. Oh my gosh, I think he's lost his eye. Edge is now a Pirate.
ESPN Upstate, everywhere on the Odyssey app, powered by official grocery store, the Saturday Morning Scramble.
I wonder how much it costs to get the hell in the cell over there.
I mean,
They have their own planes.
they got to have me getting paid $400 million for this show. They figure out a way. That was a full contact frog splash.
It was pretty. It was.
What's worse, it is on a short week for a team that's lost 2 in a row. And at this point now, going up against the Denver Broncos, who lost 3 in a row. Come out of the gate so strong at 3-0. Now have lost their last 3. While we're not even halfway through the season yet, both these teams are in
Trying to decide what I want to do tonight.
I will not be there tonight.
Oh.
I got the trivia dude asked me to fill in tonight, and he's paying me double to emergency cover for him, and I got to have the money, unfortunately.
I got you.
Prescription drugs require an online consultation. Restrictions apply. See website for
Did you go buy the glove?
safety information.
Think you might have ED? Not sure? Well, we'd like to let you in on a little secret.
Hello to everybody in the stream, by the way. You guys are mighty quiet today. Thanks for coming by and hanging out with us.
So I could go home and lay down, or I could go tonight with the possibility that I could have a Michael Jordan sick game.
The flu game.
It's a possibility, you know?
I'm not going to be there to be chasing you down tonight, though.
Get access to doctors online who can prescribe you FDA-approved ED medication if appropriate. The same active ingredient as name brands, but 90% cheaper. Skip the waiting rooms and pharmacy lines. Get a free medical consultation.
I have bowled better since you've been back, for sure. Because
See if you fall off today.
Well, I'm going to blame that on sickness, not on you not being there. Plus,
Plus,
if Diesel's there, I mean, as much as he's improving.
God, I hope he sucks tonight.
Small businesses are always looking to cut expenses. That's why we offer the best value on fast internet and phone. But we wanted
He may have over-celebrated last night and won't be able to show up.
No, I was texting him after the game. He was at the house.
He's going to be rolling in here, all happy. I don't blame him, though. That's
But a
pretty
little
big win
groggy
them.
for no specific reason.
Yeah.
That's a big win.
Are you surprised they started out with this match?
Listen to Kelvin.
Yeah, I think you want to start hot for this show. Or for the
As God is my witness, he's been torn in half. He is not moving.
This is not no holds, right? So there would be a count out in this, right?
It's a hell in the cell, so there's no count.
Oh, that's true. Dude, he jumped on. Oh my God.
And hit the table. That's
Yeah.
that's the worst part.
Oh.
Because the way he landed on his side. Was that table broke before he hit it?
No. He went through it.
Okay, well, that's better. Because of,
I mean, it breaks the fall a little bit. But
yeah,
not that much. He hit, and he landed sideways.
on his ribs.
Oh,
Yeah, that's not.
Golly.
Special discounts only available on andro400.com. andro400.com.
It takes 2 vaccines to help protect you this season, the flu and COVID-19. And now you can get both shots at the same visit.
All right, I know the match is going on, but who you got?
Edge.
Edge is
You
lost.
can't put.
He's lost a lot lately, so I got to
Yeah.
go Edge also.
You can't. Oh God, right on the shoulder. Oh, you can't.
Wouldn't shock me if Rollins takes some time off after this.
Yeah,
That did not look good.
you can't like look at this through like regular booking schedule because it's basically a fantasy booking show for the Saudi prince. All right, the Rob Brown Show rolls on. This is ESPN Upstate. The Atlanta Braves 3-1 in the NLCS after a big walk last night. 9 runs put on the board. So offense is hitting the ball well. Offense is hitting the ball well last night. In fact, even in the loss the other night. I mean, Look, you put 5 up against Walker Buehler and the Dodgers, you expect to win that game. Dodgers are a good team, guys. I think that's one thing that the last couple of days as I've been talking to Braves fans about the pessimism that is most of Atlanta's hopes. The one thing I keep trying to remind people, and I guess I should probably work on reminding myself of this. The one thing to remember is even if the Braves lose this series, right? This is an 88-win baseball team. 88-win baseball team. The Dodgers are a 106-win baseball team. Mark Ryan went and dug up some stats the other night. He went back and looked at the All-Star chase, or the All-Star game break. At the All-Star break, the Braves were a team that fluctuated from a few games above to a few games below 500 over and over. Hey, up and down. Then they went on a run late. Had a good run. By the way, Max Fried, I did not know this. Do you know Max Fried had the best ERA in baseball after the All-Star break? Second half of the season, Max Fried had the best ERA in baseball. That's really impressive. Like, really impressive. That being said, I've told you guys what I love about this team is chemistry, right? And I try not to do this. I try not to fall in love with the intangibles of teams, right? Because intangibles are things that can go away. They're about attitude. They're about emotion. They're about mentality. Intangibles can go away in a second, right? One clubhouse argument breaks up chemistry. One injury breaks up hustle. That's how it goes. All it takes is one moment, and the whole thing can come crashing down. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen. I don't believe that's what's going to happen. What I am saying is that this team found a way last year with a better lineup, by the way, with Ronnie in there. I don't know. Maybe it's better this year. Added Jock Peterson, Eddie Rosario. What a man. How much credit do the Braves get for adding Eddie Rosario at the trade deadline? Rosario's been clutch. 2 home runs last night. He had already paid off dividends. Remember, he had the walk-off back in, what was it, game 2? He was responsible for the walk-off. And then last night he goes on a 2 home run mission that really sparked the whole thing. Eddie was the dude that started the whole thing with that first home run early. I got to tell you, man, Bravos have really good chemistry right now. And I mean, honestly, it's they feed off of each other, and you can tell, you can feel it. When Eddie Rosario went dinga last night, that Braves dugout came alive, and they never looked back. Problem with that type of team can be that one loss can take that mentality away, right? That's what and honestly, that's what I was worried about. I was worried about the mentality after the Game 3 L, being up 5-0 with 9 outs to go and losing that game. I was genuinely worried the mentality of the team, the optimism, the chemistry of that team might go away. Lonzo, I'm a little more comfortable today than I was last year at 3-1, because that team, had they come out last night and looked flat, I would have been concerned. They did not. They were killing the baseball.
I watched a good portion of that game, and those guys look like they were having fun. I mean, that's different. I know you got to have the winner's mentality, go out there, this is business and all that, but those guys were having a blast. They absolutely were. And I think if they can keep that up, they got a good shot at taking this thing home.
Yeah, you can, like we said, mentality is a big. And look, at the end of the day, you can be the most optimistic, mentally secure person in the game. Hitting a 98-mile-an-hour splitter is freaking hard, right? You got to have talent. And a lot of us thought, with Marcell Ozuna being an idiot and taking himself out, making himself unavailable to be a pinch hitter in big spots. With Roddy Acuna and his busted knee, I mean, dude was on pace for an MVP season. Not a lot of teams that can lose an MVP player and then just keep on steaming. But the pickups have been great. It's Jocktober with the bad B, Jock Peterson. Eddie Rosario has been clutch for the Bravos. Freddie came back alive. Last year at 3-1, this team did not have the same feel, the same mentality. They didn't have the same energy about them. You didn't feel it. It didn't feel the same way. This year, when the game started yesterday, you got a feeling that there was something there for this team. And after Rosario went yad in the very first at bat, the dugout looked like it was a frat party, man. And I loved it. It wasn't the Yankees business approach, right? Short hair, clean shaven. Don't go crazy. Where it's a business. No, man, they were having fun. Lonzo, I will always take a team that's energetic, that's fun, that has confidence in themselves. Maybe talk a little smack here. I will always take that team over the business approach. And right now, the Dodgers have the business approach. The Braves have the let's go out there and have fun playing the game approach, and they're up 3-1.
We know that I'm not a big baseball fan, but I was switching between that and the football game. And because they were having so much fun and having such a good time, I left it there. That's the reason why I didn't see the second half of the football game, because I left it on the baseball game. Because those guys were having a blast, and I think it's infectious.
Oh, it absolutely is. Absolutely is. And I'll tell you, for a sport, what do we have every time we talk baseball? What do we hit? What do we get? We get people calling in and going, Bro, if baseball wants to survive, it needs to be working on bringing in young fans, bringing in new fans. You know how you bring in new fans? You know how you bring in the next generation? You stop making baseball a stuffy old guy sport, and you start hyping the Jock Petersons. You start hyping the Eddie Rosarios. You start hyping the Ronald Acuna Jr.'s, and you make those guys the stars of the game. That's why the Braves were entertaining as hell last night, and that's why the Braves are up 3-1. But again, it is far from over. It is far from over. Bravos were up 3-1 last year, too, and the wheels came off. I don't feel, oh, God, Lonzo, I'm about to go against my own promo again. I feel like it's different this time for Atlanta. There's a different energy. There's a different aura about this team.
It's okay. You're a fan of the team. It's okay to be a fan of the team when you want your team to win. That's all right.
This is honestly, this isn't even about me being a Braves guy. This is just a baseball guy watching baseball. I would say this about any other team. I need to listen to myself and listen to my promo, but there is a different energy. There's a different aura around this team. There's a confidence out of that clubhouse that even as fun as they were and as good as they were last year, that I did not feel out of this team last year. But then again, I've heard Falcons fans say that before they choke. I've heard Georgia fans say that before they choke. And I, as a Brave fan, have said that before the Braves choked. So we'll see. All right, 844-GSP-ESPN, 844-477-3776 is the number if you want to be a part of the program today. You're welcome to do so. 1 o'clock, Rashad Beard, host of the Panther Nation podcast, joins us. 1:20, Andrew Lord, who is the head coach for your Greenville Swamp Rabbits, will join us. And then at 2:20, Fight Club comes on. We'll see how Lonzo approaches it with live wrestling on TV. Seth Rollins and Edge at it right now. Quick break. Back after this on the Rob Brown Show. It's ESPN Upstate.
I have to go to the restroom, but I'm guessing this thing will end while I'm in there. But oh well.
Yeah, we're getting close to go home.
He's got a hamstring
hamstring injury. Coverage game 5, 7:30 Eastern, ESPN Radio. NFL, banged up Browns could activate receiver Jarvis Landry from IR for tonight's game against the Broncos. Receiver Odell Beckham Jr. questionable.
Josh, welcome in, fella. Good to have you, buddy. I know. I'm sorry to do it. But I got to do what I got to do. You know how it goes.
Indefinitely dislocated shoulder, doesn't need surgery. The American Athletic Conference adding UAB, Texas San Antonio, Rice, North Texas, Charlotte, and Florida Atlantic. They'll replace Cincinnati, UCF, and Houston, which are leaving for the Big 12. The additions give the American 14 teams in football and basketball.
From the Ingles Market Studio, this is ESPN Upstate. 97.7 FM Greenville, 97.1 FM Spartanburg.
Yeah, I don't have to like it, but it is what it is.
South Tech 2021 is taking place October 26th through the 28th at Greenville Convention Center. If you are a small to mid-sized manufacturer, you and your team can't afford to miss this 3-day in-person Southeast manufacturing event. Whether your business is looking to get hands-on demonstrations, reduce costs, identify new markets, or maintain manufacturing competitiveness, South Tech has the technologies.
Ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth? Seth has wrapped the chain around his foot to set up for the stomp.
Oh.
Oh, nope. Seth's winning. Oh, look at the back.
Oh. Nice little road rash there.
Visit southtechonline.com and enter promo code RADIO, RADIO. That's southtechonline.com.
Oh, he connected too.
See you there.
Joint pain relief doesn't have to mean drugs and surgery. Now there's a better
Maybe it's plastic chain.
It's got to be. But even still, I mean, when you kicked on a super kick hard enough to see the jaw go over. No, Edge is going to win. I'm going back. I'm switching back.
So you can't change in the middle of a match just
Sure I can.
as you're watching the
I just did
flow.
If you're tired of the Band-Aid solutions like drugs and steroids and you really want to avoid surgery, you need to check out
This thing's going to go 6 hours. Because look at how long this match is gone.
I've never seen that.
Oh
I've
my
never
God.
seen that before.
Yeah, kid. You don't want that. You don't want that. Nobody wants that. You know what? I don't care if I ever see that again. I don't ever want to see that.
Old Seth took one to the crown jewels, didn't he? Oh.
ESPN Upstate, 97.7 FM Greenville, 97.1 FM Spartanburg, and on the Odyssey app.
Prescription products requiring online consultation. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information.
Think you might have ED? Not sure? Well, we'd like to let you in on a little secret. ED is common. About 40% of men experience ED by age 40, but the solution is simple. Find it at forhims.com.
I didn't have to talk to a doctor.
Uh-oh. What's he doing now? Doing the hog time?
No, I was going to do it in the mouth.
Ah. That is brutal.
Can you tap out? Yeah, you can tap out in Hell in a Cell, right? Submission.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
He's got a wrench.
No, we'll do that one too.
Oh. Luckily, it has some padding over it, as if they knew that was going to happen.
Shocking.
All right, so there was probably about 10 minutes of hype at the beginning of this. This thing's gone a half hour.
I'm entertained. I'll take a good match for an hour if I'm entertained.
Still, there's like 12 matches or
Yeah.
something. That's what I'm saying.
They're not all. There's going to be a couple of squashes, right? He missed it.
He absolutely
He
botched
missed it.
that. Yeah.
Get that satisfying crunch. Now with 20%
Botches happen a lot in the desert.
Yeah.
Wonder why that is.
Nature Valley Oats and Honey Crunchy Bar. With
We'll
more
see if you can replay that and not make it look fake.
Texter says, Rob, I think you just need to constantly talk blank about the Braves and they'll win. Hey, if that's what it takes. If that's what it takes. Lonzo, how surprising is it to you that Pittsburgh's a 3.5-point favorite over Clemson? Like I told you that on what, Tuesday, I think Monday, Tuesday, I told you on the air. Pittsburgh favored over Clemson by 3.5. Where that's on our pick sheet for later in the game. How surprised were you when I told you that?
I was very surprised. I got to be honest.
So was I.
Because the love fest for Clemson is still out there, and the fact that is Pittsburgh really that much better than Clemson?
Tigers have won the past two meetings by an average of 33.5 points, but here's the thing. They've only scored 33 one time this season. They did it against an FCS team in South Carolina State. But Clemson historically punches the under against Pitt. Now, you can say it's because Pitt just doesn't score on Clemson, and maybe that's true. But this game's always a low-scoring game. You know what Clemson is against the spread so far in the last 7 games, though? Against the spread, Clemson is 0-7 in their past 7. 0-7 in their past 7. Here's what's also interesting. Pittsburgh's a 3.5-point favorite. And listen, I've told you guys when I'm looking at games, I always look Vegas lines. Second thing I look is where the money's coming in against those lines. How about this, though? 62% of bettors are taking Pitt to cover the 3.5. 62% are taking Pitt to cover 3.5. And 90% of the money betted on this game in Vegas so far, 90% of the money is going for Pitt. 90% of the money is going for Pitt. That is insane. That I was shocked when the lines dropped on Monday and Clemson was a 3.5-point dog to Pitt. Even as bad as they've been, I was shocked by that. I am stunned that 90% of the money is coming in on Pittsburgh. The betting public is backing the Panthers. Now, if we're being honest here, Lonzo, probably 20-25% of that money is on people who just bet against Clemson, right? They just saw Clemson's an underdog, and they're like, let's go. I'm here to see Clemson take the L. Let's bet against them. But almost 2/3 of bettors, almost 2/3 of bettors are backing the Panthers, and they are doing so. That means the people that are riding Clemson on this bet, Zoe, are not confident in it at all. There is no confidence in Clemson, and that's what I want to get to here. 90, it's impressive. But voting against the spread, you know, Vegas has a goal when they put up the spread. The goal is to get half the money to come in on one team and half the money to come in on the other. That's ultimately what they want. They want a 50% split because it protects the bottom line for them. But when 90% of the money's coming in on Pitt, it doesn't guarantee anything. The only thing it tells me, Lonzo, is that there is zero confidence for a Clemson turnaround. Zero confidence for a Clemson turnaround amongst the Vegas bettors. And there, you know, this includes bettors like me, guys that are like, yeah, I feel like I'm all right. I'm a 62% picker, which means if I play my money smart, I'm coming out at a profit at the end of the year. But it also includes guys who do this for a living, who put tens of thousands of dollars down on bets. This means the big money bettors, the guys who know what they're doing, the big money bettors, overwhelmingly convinced that Clemson's not covering, losing this weekend. 90% at 3.5 means these people are way confident that Pitt is going to win by 3.5 or better. That is shocking to me, Zoe.
This just takes me back 20 years or so when I first moved here. And each week you wasn't sure if Clemson was going to win. And I never thought that they'd go back to that place. And it seems like they have, at least for this year.
I don't know, man. I get it. Like I've had a couple of Clemson fans who have said, something along the lines of now this is what it felt like before, like pre-Dabo, right? This is what it felt like. Just every game was a question mark against the teams that are middle of the road. And here we are. I am genuinely
they say pre-Dabo, but they forget that Dabo was struggling a little bit too. There were some calls for Dabo to be gone, and then suddenly they turned it around.
Texter asked what the payout for Clemson is. Clemson is plus 3.5, a minus 105. So you bet $100, you win 105 back. So it's not a huge profit game, right? It's not a huge profit game. Pittsburgh minus 115 at minus 3.5. Straight money line bet to pick Clemson straight up plus 145. So bet 145, win $100 back. Scratch that. Bet 100, win 145 back. 50%, almost a 50% profit for betting on Clemson. If Vegas is putting you at plus 440, plus 145, that's really interesting. There is no confidence in Clemson to be able to right the ship, at least not against Pitt this weekend. And I got to tell you, I picked Clemson last week, and what did I say, Zoe? If they don't cover this game against Syracuse, they don't cover against Syracuse, I am done picking Clemson against the spread. They are now 0 for 7. I got to tell you, Lonzo, I don't see the turnaround happening this year. If there's a turnaround for Clemson, it's in 2022. It ain't this year. They're not figuring it out. And that's not a shot at Dabo or Tony Elliott or anybody else. It's just a statement. If they don't, not if they don't get, because I've said that, the last 3 weeks? I said it against NC State, said it against Syracuse. Oh, if they don't turn this thing around this week, then they won't turn it around. I got to tell you, Lonzo, I'm at the point now, I don't think they turn it around. Not this year anyway. I have zero confidence in Clemson figuring this out. The play calling's bad. The offensive line is bad. The wide receivers aren't fighting for footballs anymore. DJ is throwing lasers that should be finesse balls and putting the wide receivers in tough spots. I'm sorry to tell you, Clemson fans, there is no turnaround for 2021 to carry momentum into 2022. And all of a sudden, Lonzo, there looks like there might be a couple more L's coming down the schedule. Because if you're not favored against Pitt, yeesh, that's not ideal.
I don't know. I can't help but to, as a South Carolina fan, to look at some of these teams that Clemson is struggling with and be pretty happy about what could happen at the end of the year, even with Zeb Nolan as a quarterback.
Now 2 weeks ago, we had a lot of South Carolina fans chirping. Can't wait for Thanksgiving weekend. We might be able to snipe the Tigers this year. And then they struggled. Against Vandy. And those chirps went away. Clemson loses to Pitt this weekend, especially if they lose by more than 3.5. They lose by, 7, 10, 12. All of a sudden, Palmetto State rivalry goes right back to being a little interesting, doesn't it? Unless South Carolina just chokes it up this weekend. 844-GSP, ESPN, Texas on the Ingles Market text on 71307. Texas says, I am very freaking close to money line 100 on Clemson, plus 145, no freaking way. Texas says, Tony Elliott needs a bus ticket. Whew, I gotta tell you, I'm kind of over it, to be honest. I'm kind of over it. I do not feel...
I think it's funny you point the finger at one person like they're the problem when there are multiple problems on this Clemson team.
Oh, no, there's definitely more problems. There are definitely more problems. But to me, the play calling is the big one. It's not playing to the few things that Clemson has going right.
You can have awesome play calling, but if you don't have the players that are executing said plays, it's not going to go well.
Right, but they don't have awesome play calling. That's the point, right? Like, you're right. If the play calling looked good, if the play calling was running to the strengths of Clemson, then yeah, you could go, okay, you can have great play calling if you don't have players to execute. That's fine. The problem is they don't have great play calling. The start of that argument doesn't work because Tony Elliott's play calling is predictable, it's vanilla, it's boring, and it plays away from the couple of strengths that Clemson has right now. Let's take a break, come back, wrap up hour number 1. Rob Lonzo, you. It's ESPN Upstate.
Everyday practical conversations that you'll actually use.
Wouldn't shock me if that place with that corn maze
Oh, yeah, true.
advertised out there, Denver Downs probably has something like that.
Using a modern conversation-based technique that makes learning fun, engaging, and best of all, memorable. It starts by teaching you
The Steiner recliner sure has made its way back. I don't know what they're calling it there. On NXT, every time Braun Breaker does it, they call it the recliner.
The recliner.
They're just trying to stay away from. It's like, go ahead. Everyone knows who he is. Go ahead and say it. Wonder if he tried to stay away from that.
I mean, he's doing it.
Yeah, but you don't know if he was told.
Told to, yeah.
Audible is the best place to listen for everything you're into, from comedy to motivation to the latest bestsellers. Find it all.
The crowd is out there. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Of course, they know who he is.
Yeah. All right, wrapping up hour number one. When we come back, Rashad Beard of the Panther Nation podcast joins us here on the show to talk Carolina Panther football. We will see if he's got some, see if he's reevaluated his stance, his expectations for this team this year as they get set to head up to the New York Giants. Then Andrew Lord, head coach of the Greenville Swamp Rabbits, will join us on the show. We'll talk some hockey with him. And then the back half of next hour, Lonzo and I will review last week's picks, give you this week's picks, and get set up and ready to go. We got 2 hours left of the Rob Brown Show on a Thursday. It's ESPN Upstate.
Presents your ESPN Upstate Sports Center update powered by The Score. The Atlanta Braves are just one win away from punching their ticket to the World Series. They lead their series against the Dodgers 3-1 after winning in Los Angeles yesterday 9-2. Eddie Rosario with another 4-hit game as he hits 2 home runs. Adam Duvall and Freddie Freeman also hitting home runs for the Braves. They went with a bullpen game, starting with Jesse Chavez and then continuing Drew Smiley, Chris Martin, AJ Minter, Tyler Matzik, and Will Smith, as they were able to put together a performance to get the Braves the win. And now the series continues tonight in Los Angeles with Max Fried on the mound for Atlanta trying to pitch into a World Series. Download the Score app today. Lightning fast sports alerts so you never miss a thing. It's why the Score app is one of North America's most popular sports apps. With your ESPN Upstate Sports Center update, I'm Matt Pauley.
Have you heard the Rob Brown Show?
I got no issue with a conspiracy theorist on this one. Oh, do we have the music? Can we get the music? Did the NBA conspiracy cancel Chris Paul, knowing that Kawhi Leonard was unavailable? Did the NBA force Chris Paul to sit out Game 2, only to give the Clippers a chance without their superstar?
I'm getting voicemail. I hope I wrote the thing down right.
We'll leave that decision up to you. Coming up next on the Rob Brown Show. Something he's told you for weeks comes true. According to someone he agrees with. I can't even come up with a good tease because this music's so good.
Hey, Greenville, Spartanburg. Catch the Rob Brown Show weekdays noon to 3 on ESPN Upstate. Conspiracy. It's the NFL on Sports USA, and we're in Las Vegas as the Philadelphia Eagles fly into the black hole to take on the Raiders.
You still have the number handy. Just
Yep. Host of the Rob Brown Show goes live now. This is ESPN Upstate. Hello, Upstate, South Carolina. I am Rob. Lonzo on the other side of the board, pushing the button, switching the switches, making the show sound as good as it does today. So if you like it, he gets all the credit. I'm just here being pretty and talking football, the two things I'm good at. Speaking of talking football, let's do so, but specifically about that NFL team that's right up the road from us, your Carolina Panthers, coming off of a devastating home overtime loss to the Minnesota Vikings, drops them back to 500, win 3 in a row, lose 3 in a row. To break that game down and look ahead towards this weekend's contest with the New York Football Giants, we welcome in the young man that is the host of the Panther
6 games, right? 6 games for the entire coaching between the last 2 years the coaching staff has been around. So we've had plenty enough time to figure it out. We've had enough time to figure out this offense without him. But we go out there and we still look really bad. And even with him, to be honest, I mean, just to be quite frank, to be with him or to have CMC there, we were an average offense at best with him. So without him, we get really exposed. And so we definitely have to find our way on offense. We know the offensive line is bad, but realistically, every NFL team has something to coach around, right? Either they're going to have a lack of weapons, they're going to have a lack of not a good offensive line. There's only a few elite offensive lines. So we can't continue to use offensive line as an excuse. You have to get creative. You have to move the pocket. You have to do things, and we're just not seeing that out of our offense. So, yeah, there's a lot of things with the offense that are not going well.
Rashad Beard, host of the Panther Nation podcast, joins us here on the Rob Brown Show on ESPN Upstate. Rashad, the Matt Rule came out earlier this week and said that the offense is going to be drastically different this week. Said we're going to commit to running the ball more, which – all right, but I mean, this team runs the ball more per game than all but I think 8 other teams in the NFL. To me, Rashad, is about picking the spots, right? Like consistently, this team has gotten away from running the ball in the third quarter, even with a lead. And then they're opening the door by giving 3-4 extra possessions in the third quarter, and teams are taking advantage of that. To me, Rashad, if I got to talk to Matt Rule and say, Coach, it's not about running the ball more. You're running the ball the right amount. It's about running the ball consistently more. Exactly. Are you seeing the same thing?
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's situational, right? It's situational. When are you running the football situationally? Like we've been able to, and especially those first 3 games, right? We were able to sit on lead. The defense put the offense in good situations. And when we're put in a situation where we have to come back, now you're getting away from running the football. And even then, we get panicky, right? We fall down a couple points, and then they just completely panic and put the ball in Sam Darnold's hands. You don't have to. You can still run the football and claw your way back. And so I think they really need to focus on running the football. I think Chuba is getting 4 or 5 yards, or excuse me, about 4.5 yards per pop when he runs the football. So just consistently run the football, do it situationally, and not panic when you're down a couple possessions. I think that's important. I think you hit the nail right on the head. Situationally, you have to run the football, and I think you'll see it. I think you have to do it, and I think that's the only way that this team is going to be successful. Putting the ball in Sam Darnold's hands 40 times is not the answer. That's not going to get us any wins. So just run the football and see what happens.
Rashad Beard, the host of the Panther Nation podcast, joins us here on the Rob Brown Show on ESPN Upstate. Before we look ahead to the Giants game this weekend, Rashad, this drama that happened around Christian McCaffrey, right? He got the injury against Dallas a few weeks back. Matt Rule says, we're hoping he's going to be back for Philly. He's not. Says we're hoping we're going to have him back for Minnesota. He's not. Then we find out the day after Minnesota, he's going on the IR for 3 more weeks, eligible to come back in week number 9. What happened there? Because there's part of me that thinks, was the staff not informing Matt Rule correctly? Was Matt Rule just lying about it? Did it re-aggravate? I mean, 2 or 3 things lead me to believe that maybe there's a little bit of miscommunication within the organization, or the third opportunity is Matt Rule wasn't just being honest with the fans. Any insight on that?
I don't have any insight, but I tell you what, we've seen it before with another coaching staff. We've seen this game with Cam Newton. We've seen the injuries be miscategorized, the information not be accurate. We throw him out there and he gets hurt. And they're hiding injuries. So we've seen this. We've seen this game before under prior ownership, under prior coaches. So this is nothing new to Panther Nation. We've seen it, and it's really unfortunate. And I see some fans complaining about when Christian McCaffrey went on IR, and I really don't think it matters when he went on IR. That's irrelevant, because he could have went on IR and still not been healthy, right? So I don't care about when it happened. I just feel like it's really confusing. Let the man get healthy, right? You put over the past 4 years prior to him signing his contract, you put a ton of.
Rashad went away, Lonzo. That's all right. Is that a disconnect?
Yeah,
No, it's all good. It's all good. Can we try to get him back real quick? We'll do another 3-4 minutes if we can get him back on. Rashad Beard is down in Orlando. Texas says, if you give Christian McCaffrey the ball 58 out of 70 plays, what do you think is going to happen? Yeah, you're exactly right. We're going to get Rashad back here in a minute, and we'll talk to him about that. But at the same time, like I said, to me, it's interesting because not because of the injury. I mean, I've told you I was concerned about the injury bug with Christian McCaffrey. I was concerned about the injury bug last year. And then they brought him back, and it went sideways again this year, which again is really unsurprising to me. I think we got Rashad back. Shad, we lost you there for a second. Sorry, bud. You were saying that Panthers fans have seen this type of situation play out before.
Yeah, we've seen this before with Cam Newton, and I just feel like you have to let Christian McCaffrey get completely healthy, no matter what the injury is. Just let him get completely healthy. Again, with this offense being so reliant on the guy, there's no point in throwing him out there when he's not healthy, right? When he's not healthy, he's not going to be as effective. But also at the same time, when he comes back, figure out this offense, right? Figure out the offense so that when he does get integrated back into the offense, it's that much more better. Christian McCaffrey, running the entire offense through Christian McCaffrey is cool. That makes us an average offense. But when you're able to get everybody involved and also have Christian McCaffrey as the cherry on top, it makes the offense that much harder to guard. So I really think we've got to find a way without Christian McCaffrey and let this man get completely healthy. He's got a lot of wear and tear. Let him get completely healthy and let him come back. But again, like I said, Panther Nation has seen this before. It's nothing new to us. But whatever it is, just let him get healthy and bring him back when he's ready to go.
All right, last one, and then we'll switch gears and talk about the Giants game. So you and I have talked a couple of times. I said last week that whether CMC was ready or not, to sit him down, because if you can't beat the Eagles, or 2 weeks ago, if you can't beat the Eagles at home without CMC, it doesn't really matter whether you make the playoffs or not. And I'd rather that you have the guy be 100% before he comes back. With the Philly loss and back-to-back losses with the Vikings as well, has your expectations and or goals for this season changed?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. I think expectations have gone down, right? I need to see better coaching. I need to see this offense execute without Christian McCaffrey. So my expectations my expectations have dropped for the team, but my goal stays the same, right? If that makes sense. I still need to see this team be an 800 or close to 500 as possible, right? We need to be an 8 and 9 in that range somewhere. We need to be as close. We need to see improvement from last year. No matter what the situation is, there are teams. I think the Ravens have 17 dudes on IR. That's no excuse, right? You have to be able to build a roster that can sustain injuries. You have to build an offense that can sustain injuries. And I think that's what's going to tell us what we have in the coaching staff. When you're able to get around those injuries, when you have those injuries, are you able to coach your way around it? And right now the answer is no. So my expectations or my expectations have gone down, but the goal kind of still stays the same, if that makes sense.
Rashad Beard, host of the Panther Nation podcast. All right, Rashad, expectations for this weekend against the Giants. Listen, we saw the Giants. They went to overtime a couple of weeks back, knocked off the New Orleans Saints, but there's also been games that they just do not look good. No CMC until week 9 and a handful of other injuries around the team. Panthers a 3.5-point favorite in this game. And I got to tell you, please don't shoot me, Rashad. I'm kind of leaning towards picking the Giants in this one, man.
Well, I think that's interesting. The Giants also have a ton of injuries. I did a show last night with a Giants YouTuber, and they have a ton of guys out. Both tackles are out. And last time the Giants saw Hassan Reddick, they gave up 5 sacks. So they're not going to be happy to see him, especially with 2 tackles down. No Andrew Thomas, no Kadarius Toney, no Saquon Barkley, no Kenny Galladay. So they have a ton of guys out. So I think that's kind of built into the line. So I think I fully expect the Panthers to go out there and get a W against the Giants. This is not a good team. And I tell you what, if we lose this game, the Giants are 1-5. They did beat the Saints. I just throw that in there. I don't know if you saw that game or not, but they did beat the Saints. So I think that we are capable of beating this team. We do have to go up. It's on the road, so we'll see how this team and can kind of navigate around that. But I do expect them to beat the Giants. I think it's definitely a winnable game, and I'm betting on the Panthers. I'm putting my money behind the Panthers.
Rashad Beard with the Saints dig in there. Great interview, terrible friend. Rashad Beard is the host of the Panther Nation podcast. You can find their work on YouTube. Follow him on Twitter as well at Panther Nation PC. Rashad, go enjoy Disney, big dog. We'll talk to you back next week, man. I appreciate it.
Hey, appreciate you guys.
You know it. That's Rashad Beard. When we come back here in just a minute, Andrew Lord is the head coach of your Greenville Swamp Rabbits. They get the regular season started coming up tomorrow. You know, we're talking about hockey when we come back. Let's go do that hockey with Andrew Lord next on the Rob Brown Show at ESPN Upstate.
QC.
Our friends at QC Kinetics want you to feel better, faster, stronger, and feel that way naturally. Listen, you've got a limited amount of connective tissue inside of all of your joints, right? There's just so much of it. And as you get older, that connective tissue wears down. It erodes over time like everything else. And when that connective tissue starts to wear down, the parts that ain't supposed to touch in your joints start to touch. They rub, they cause inflammation. That inflammation causes pain, and it hurts. But you don't want to have to deal with that, right? That's why you need to check out our friends at QC.
At PriorityHeatingAndAirHVAC.com.
Riddle walked away, and they were thinking that he quit. So they were making a big deal because I knew he was going to get a camel. I mean, it was so obvious.
It's hilarious. I still love it.
Oh, me too.
So you do it because you have to? No, we do it because it's the right thing to do. Our clients trust us with their retirement savings, and we know how important that responsibility is.
Still one thing I don't think we've ever seen. That's almost getting RKO'd.
A camel? He's going to RKO a camel?
No, almost getting RKO'd.
Oh, gotcha. I thought you said almost getting RKO'd. And I was like, he's going to almost RKO a camel? In fairness, I would want to see that.
Yeah, well, me too.
I loved disappointed Uncle Randy look when he came out with the camel. Fun Uncle Randy is fun. And I think I'm going to be heartbroken when he turns on Riddle.
He's already turned on him once before.
Yeah, but like,
I know.
You know what I mean.
I just sent you a picture so you could just remember it. Oh, WWE just posted a video of him coming out on the camel.
He really is a gigantic human being.
Yes, he is. Oh,
I think if I was that big, I'd be a professional wrestler, and the only move I would have is just a shoulder charge. I would just run back and forth across the ring, shoulder charging everybody. Also, I finished the Avengers main storyline. I liked it.
Okay.
I liked it. Hulk, Thor, and Iron Man. I was playing with the three tanks, Hulk, Thor, and Iron Man.
Who's that? Thor's still my favorite because he's a tank and he can fly.
Yeah. He's strategically, he is the best to use.
Didn't impact my credit score, Dad. No?
I think Iron Man I like just because I like Iron Man. Like, it was just cool to be Iron Man.
No, it's just easy. Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Terms and conditions apply. Find out more at CapitalOne.com/autonavigator.
There's the rest, and then there's the best. You're listening to the best Thursday show on the state.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it is time. Let's go do that hockey. It's hockey season, and it's hockey season right here in the Upstate as your Greenville Swamp Rabbits make their return to the ice starting tomorrow on the road, back home at the Well next weekend, every Thursday through the duration of the season at 1:20. We will be featuring your Greenville Swamp Rabbits with a dedicated segment right here on the Rob Brown Show. And who else do we start off with but the man carrying the clipboard, the guy in charge of it all, head coach of your Swamp Rabbits, Andrew Lord, joins us here on the Rob Brown Show on ESPN Upstate. Lordo, welcome back, man. Happy hockey season, big dog.
Thanks, pal. Good to be back on. Excited to hear your voice there, Rob. You're bringing the energy as always. So excited for the season and our first games here coming up.
That's hockey season, man. If you're not energized and excited for hockey season, you need to see a doctor or something, buddy. It's time to get going. And we'll start, Lordo. Really cool event last night. You guys were up at Spare Time Entertainment and got the chance to introduce the returning vets and the new guys to the Swamp Rabbit fans. And I got to tell you, the fans of this team, Lordo, it's interesting to me. Hockey has got, especially in the South, your teams kind of start to develop almost like a cult following, right? Like the hardcore fans. There was an energy and an enthusiasm in that building last night that I'm gonna be honest, got me a little jazzed to start watching some hockey, buddy.
Yeah, it was great. It was a great night. That venue's first class. It's definitely the nicest bowling alley I've ever been in. That was great, and they treated us really well. And then the fans came out. The place was packed. It was rocking and rolling, and fun to get started. It felt like, kind of day one almost, and a good lead into our game here on Saturday, and then the two home ones next weekend.
For you, Coach, one of the things that I'm intrigued by is, at this level of hockey, you get some guys that are longtime vets with a team, but every year you also got a good amount of turnover, new guys coming in that you've got to incorporate. For you as a head coach, when you're trying to build chemistry with, it feels like half a roster of guys that are making their debut for Greenville, half the guys have been here for a couple of years now. How do you work on that chemistry in the off season and make sure that you're ready in week number one when it's time to go?
Yeah, it's tricky. I think finding the right guys in that recruiting process is just critical because of that. You need to bring in good people first and foremost. I believe we've done that. The other nice thing last year, I think we brought back Pecoraro, maybe one other player. It was a complete whitewash. We really started fresh. And then this year we got a core back. We got anywhere from 8 to 10 guys coming back, depending on what happens with players up in the American League and whatnot. But, that core at this level in minor league hockey is huge. Usually teams, when I played, it was 3, 4, maybe 5 guys coming back. So to have the 8 to 10 is a big bonus. And, I feel like we're way ahead of where we were last year because you have a bit of that culture set. Guys already know the practices, they know the systems, and then we're just building from there. And then they're helping, the new core, if you will, to bring them up to speed, and kind of everyone's working together. So I think we've done a good job so far. obviously, the wins are what matters in professional sports, and first one's Saturday. So looking to get after it and get a big W.
Talk to me about, especially it's interesting in that regard, Lordo, because you kind of got two different spots, right? The offense up front, Matt Bradley returns to the lineup, leading scorer last year. Liam Pecoraro, Max Zimmer trio combined for 116 and 54 goals during the season last year. But then on the back half on defense, you got Bryce Reddick, the vet, back, but a pretty large contingent of new faces in the Navy and Orange. So not only, Coach, are you having to kind of build chemistry with some new guys, but you've got seasoned vets across the front and majoritively new guys on the back half of the ice. How do you kind of work that divide between those two sides?
Yeah, no, it's fun. It's a great challenge. I mean, we were overloaded last year with, different factors on the back end. How only half the league playing, so there was more access to defensemen. Obviously, our affiliate not playing, so we had 3 or 4 guys down from them there in Florida, a couple from LA as well. So it was busy, but this year the market's much different. We've gone, a lot younger. I'm excited about that. The energy level, the enthusiasm, the desire to move on to the next level is most certainly there. And as I've already said, it might be the most coachable group I've had in my 8 years of coaching. So really excited. We got some speed. We got Bobby Russell right from the WHL. He looks terrific. He had a good American League camp in Ontario. Ethan Kapp, he was the captain of the Edmonton Oil Kings last year in the WHL. He looks great too. And then, guys like Alec Rauhauser back from last season. I think he's got huge upside, and we're looking for him to take a big step with more opportunity. And then, Frank Hora right now is up with our affiliate Charlotte in the American League, which is an awesome opportunity. We'll see. Hopefully he runs with it. If not, we'll be lucky enough to have him back for a while, and he'll be, obviously a huge piece to our back end if he is back.
Andrew Lord is the head coach of the Greenville Swamp Rabbits, joins us here on the Rob Brown Show on ESPN Upstate. The Swamp Rabbits on the road to start their season against South Division rival South Carolina Stingrays in Charleston. John Lethman, second season with you guys between the pipes. You also got rookie Tyreek Outen, who joined the club this year. So a little bit of experience, also a fresh face to throw in there when Lethman needs a break. Talk to me a little bit about your goalkeepers, the guys keeping the pipes clean, Coach.
Yeah, I mean, getting Lefty back is absolutely huge. We saw what he could do last year down the stretch, the last 3 or 4 months. He really carried us there, especially when a few of the other affiliated goalies were called up to the American League. I think his record there in a 12-game stretch was exceptional. He's very, very good, very consistent, total pro as well. I'm not sure I've seen a team play as hard in front of him as any other goalie I've had. So I think that bodes really well. The guys just want to go to war for him. And that just is a testament to him as a guy. So great to have him back. We had Fitzpatrick down from Charlotte as well there for training camp. He's just been recalled. So we'll see if we get him back or not. There's some pieces there. Obviously, it's always a lot of movement at this level. And then Tyreek has been a real pleasant surprise. Literally didn't know a thing about him. Came in on a tryout just so we could have an additional goalie for camp. And he's really showed what he can do. He's been great, awesome guy. He looks good. So it could be a nice depth piece for us. We'll see how it goes here the next little bit.
Love it. Andrew Lord, head coach of your Greenville Swamp Rabbits here on the Rob Brown Show and ESPN Upstate. Coach, one thing that, when you get up to the higher levels where a little bit more consistency with guys getting longer contracts, et cetera, teams begin to develop an identity. I know I've been around a couple of teams in the past, and trying to find your identity year by year is, I think, one of the challenges that guys in your role face every single year. Can you give Swamp Rabbit fans a little bit of an idea? Is this going to be a highly physical team, or we're going to see a team that really relies on Bradley and Pecoraro to kind of be a finesse team up front? What kind of identity should the Rabbits fans expect out of the 2021 version of their squad?
Yeah, it's a great question. At our level, obviously we're recruiting all summer and giving it everything we got. We are, our hands are a little tied on some of the decisions, obviously, with what you get from the affiliates and whatnot. So it's hard to really map out perfectly what your roster is going to be. I believe we're pretty flexible, and we've learned over the years how to manage that. I think we obviously managed that last year with how much movement there was. this year, I'm excited. I think we have a lot of speed, particularly up front. I think we're a good skating team throughout. I think we have a really high compete level. We have a group that really cares about the team. They're going to play a team first game. So I really see 6 men out there at all times working together, playing physical, being extremely hard to play against. I think defensively we'll be very solid throughout. That's not just the defenseman. That's from the goaltender through the forwards. I think structurally we'll be sound. And I think because of that, we'll have a chance every night. So, I see a fast-paced, up-tempo, exciting brand of hockey with a lot of compete, a lot of energy in there. We definitely have a couple young guys that are willing to play the physical brand as well. Obviously, in 2021, that's all shifted a fair amount. There's not nearly as many fights and all that stuff. But, I still think there is an element to the game of that, and I think we'll be fine in that department as well.
Andrew Lord, head coach of the Swamp Rabbits, joining us here on the Rob Brown Show and ESPN Upstate. Coach, a couple more, and then we'll cut you loose. You guys getting it started off against South Carolina on Saturday. Of course, a rematch of last year's finals where things got a little wonky with scheduling. Things got a little weird with home and away games, etc. A lot of folks not super thrilled with that. A little chance for some revenge to start the season off on Saturday. How big would it be for the boys to go on the road, get a dub against South Carolina, and start the season off on the right foot?
It'd be huge. Yeah, I mean, we're taking it one game at a time, as we always do. But they've been a great team for decades now, really. And we're chasing them and the Floridas of the world. And I think last year was a huge step in kind of righting a ship and putting us back on the map. And we're looking to take another step this season. So, game one, obviously there's 72 of them, but you want to go in and have a good first impression. And I think it'll just be a real hard-nosed game. It is our arch rival. There's always a little bit of bad blood in those games, and I know our guys will be up for it.
Love it. Andrew Lord, head coach of your Greenville Swamp Rabbits. They are on the road Saturday night against South Carolina Stingrays over in Charleston. Next weekend, back home. And coach, man, look, we're going to get hopefully we're going to get back to being able to fill up the well. What's it going to be like for you and the boys to be back in front of a filled up Bon Secours with the Greenville fans out in force?
It's incredible. Yeah. I mean, we've already had more events this season than we did all last season. We were able to do 2 events last year because of the pandemic. This year we've already, had the Fan Fest. We had last night as well. So it's great. The momentum, the energy, it's unbelievable. It's, taken definitely a few steps forward from last year. Sponsorships back on board, and we really appreciate all that. And everyone's just working hard. We're really pumped up. I think, now that our whole organization under the new ownership and staff, we've had a kind of a year of seasoning. I think we're just hitting the ground running right now, and it's going to be an awesome first weekend. We're pumped up. The rink's going to be rocking. I don't have to wear a mask behind the bench, so I'm pumped up about that too. You can maybe read my lips a little more this year, which may or may not be a good thing, but we're ready to go and we're fired up. So it'd be great.
I love it. Andrew Lord is the head coach of your Greenville Swamp Rabbits. They are getting the season kicked off Saturday night on the road at North Charleston Coliseum against the South Division rival South Carolina Stingrays. Back to the well next Friday for the home opener against the Jacksonville Iceman. Lordo will be on the bench with faces new and old for your Rabbits. Go to swamprabbits.com to grab your tickets. Lordo, man, great to have you back on the air. Looking forward to talking to you throughout the season, big dog.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it. We'll talk to you soon.
Looking forward to it. That is Andrew Lord, the head coach of your Greenville Swamp Rabbits. Quick break. Thanks again, by the way, to Mark Shelley. Mark Shelley is the man you'll hear on the call. Mark just moved down here to take over as the voice of the Swamp Rabbits. I love working with the local teams. And Mark has come in and done a tremendous job filling in that role. And, we grabbed a beer last week, said, hey, let's do a Swamp Rabbit segment. And we'll be doing it every Thursday. So thanks to Mark Shelley and the boys for hooking it up. Thanks to Lordo for joining us. Thanks to my dog, Tim Vieira, he's the man in charge of them, who's made all this possible. We appreciate it. Lonzo and I give you our weekend picks when we come back on the Rob Brown Show and ESPN Upstate.
Is it your computer or is it the
Christine Lisi, breaking news on the grounds. Receiver Jarvis Landry activated off injured reserve.
Like, wouldn't even bring up the. I mean, I am going to need to plug it in, but like, wouldn't even bring up the task manager.
The NLCS with a win tonight in Game 5 against the Dodgers, 7:30 Eastern, ESPN Radio. LA third baseman Justin Turner out the rest of the postseason with a hamstring injury. NHL Devils center Jack Hughes dislocated shoulder out indefinitely. He doesn't need surgery. Tencent, the NBA's Chinese broadcast partner, removed Celtics games from its website after Boston Center and his Cantor publicly expressed support for Tibet, where the Chinese government has cracked down on freedoms and exerted control. It's reminiscent of 2019 when then Rockets GM Daryl Morey tweeted support of pro-democracy protesters in Hong Kong, which led to a brief NBA blackout in China and tensions between the league and that country.
From the Ingles Market Studio, this is ESPN Upstate. 97.7 FM Greenville, 97.1 FM Spartanburg. ESPN Upstate.
An Odyssey station.
What can give you a competitive edge in today's red-hot housing market? Rocket can. That's because Rocket Mortgage can give you a verified approval. It could help your offer stand out. Rocket Technology provides a rock-solid verification of your income, assets, and credit, giving sellers greater confidence in you. Go to rocketmortgage.com or call us today at 8338-ROCKET.
A verified approval is based on underwriting analysis of your individual financial information, raising that will call cost information and issues of amendments. States and West
Hey, it's ESPN Upstate's Mark Ryan. Join me at Ingles Markets this and every Thursday from 3 to 7 with a special live edition of Offsides with Mark Ryan. This Thursday will be at 8650 Asheville Highway in Spartanburg. Brought to you by Ingles Markets on ESPN Upstate.
This report is sponsored by Bojangles.
It's bow time. Some folks say don't call it a comeback, but when the sizzling savory comes back in all its tender glory, and you can snap up 2 of them for just $5, go ahead, call it a comeback. It's bow time. With just one spray of Microban 24, your hard surfaces are sanitized for up to 24 hours. Touch after touch after touch.
So 6 hours from now?
Still sanitized.
12 hours?
Yep.
18 hours?
We're really doing this.
24 hours.
When used as directed, one spray of Microban keeps killing 99.9% of bacteria, touch after touch for, up to 24 hours.
Wow.
Microban 24, the sanitizer 4 out of 5 doctors would use in their own homes. So why aren't you?
If your tank water heater's over 8 years old, you may be sitting on a ticking time bomb. It could start leaking without warning, causing far more damage than the loss of the heater itself. Consider replacing it with a Navien tankless water heater. No storage tank to leak, endless hot water for spa-like comfort, longer life, and backed by Navien's strong warranty. Before time runs out, visit tanklessmadesimple.com for the name of your Navien contractor.
Nobody protects you from mayhem like Allstate. I'm a broken traffic light. Stop and go is the name of my game. It's easy. You go, they go. What was it? They go, you go? And if you have the wrong car insurance, these repair costs will stop you in your tracks. So get Allstate's new low auto rate and be better protected from mayhem, like me.
Not available in every state. Based on coverage.
Oh, you got a minute and a half.
Get that satisfying crunch. Now with 20% more honey. Try a delicious Nature Valley Oats and Honey Crunchy Bar with more of the honey you love.
No way. Zelina Vega just tore Dewdrop up.
Oh, really?
It was pretty sweet, actually.
Are they doing the finals here?
Mobile One, full synthetic or synthetic high mileage motor oil, and an STP extended life oil for just $36.99. And you can get it all fast your way. Just order online with a free same-day store pickup or next-day delivery.
Well, that sucks.
Start your job today. AutoZone.com. Restrictions apply.
Get Macy's lowest prices of the season on furniture, mattresses, and rug specials. Kick back on a Lily fabric sofa for $579. Sit down to the new Aberdeen 5-piece dining set, now $1,049. And stretch out on the Canyon Queen bed, just $339. Listen off select Simmons and Sealy mattresses. Going on now at Macy's. Savings off selling clearance prices, exclusions apply.
Opinions wanted. Well, opinions are like, what was that?
Got plenty of time.
I set the wrong chair. All right, the Rob Brown Show back on your radio. This is ESPN Upstate. Rob Alonzo and you. Let's take a look at our picks from last week. Make our picks from this week. Alonzo and I tied last week. Both of us went 8-6 on the week. Brings Rob's record to 49-35 on the season. Lonzo sitting at 43-41, a couple of games over 500. Games played out last week. Texas A&M at Mizzou, 35-13, your final there. A couple of wins there. Florida minus 11.5 at LSU. We both took the Gators, and we were both wrong on that one. Both took LSU, and we were both wrong on that one. So some L's there. Both right about Auburn covering up 5.5, Auburn covering up the 5.5 that Archie was favored by 38-23, a beat down there. Kentucky at Georgia, 21.5 point favorites. One win there. Lonzo picked Kentucky to be closer than they were. Good one there. Purdue at Iowa, minus 11.5 on that one. Purdue upset by the Hawkeyes, put just 7 on the board, so a couple of L's there. Bama, minus 16.5, covered that up over Mississippi State, 49-9, couple of wins there. Ole Miss, minus 2.5 at Tennessee, and it took late into the game, but Ole Miss wins it outright, 31-26, a win for Rob and L for Zoe. Vandy at South Carolina. I picked I picked South Carolina to cover up 18.5. Lonzo, that did not happen at all.
No, not even close.
Nope. Lonzo with the win on that one, though, as he picked Vandy. I took Clemson to cover up 13.5 over Syracuse. That also did not happen, but a W for Lonzo in that one. Miami, minus 3.5 at Jacksonville. Lonzo jumped off the Urban Express. It would have picked him up a win if he didn't, though, as the fighting Trevor Lawrences get a 23-20 road win in London. Kansas City minus 6.5. We both got that one right over Washington. LA Chargers at Baltimore. Both of us picked the Chargers to win that game outright. The Chargers got beat down 6-34 underneath the Ravens. A couple of L's for Robinzo there. Both of us, however, did pick Dallas to cover up 3.5, and they did. I picked Minnesota to outright beat Carolina. Alonzo picked the Panthers, 34-28 in overtime, your final there. So a dub for Rob and L for Zoe. And that leaves us where we stand heading into this week. We'll go ahead and get started with our college picks for the weekend. We open up with one that I don't know, Alonzo, interesting team. Florida State is at home against a terrible UMass team. All right. UMass is not very good at the football. Florida State, however, 37.5 points. They have looked better the last couple of weeks since they beat North Carolina, but not great. Lonzo, I'll let you go first. Can FSU cover up 37.5 against a very bad UMass team in Tallahassee?
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
That is a lot. I'm going to say no, they can't.
They cannot. Taking UMass is Lonzo. I'm going to, you know what? They've looked better. And UMass is like really bad. Really bad. Since Florida State switched away from Mackenzie Milton and went back to Jordan Travis, they look better. I'm going to take the Noles at home to cover up 37.5. Risky play the day. Lonzo's Ohio State Buckeyes are minus 21.5 on the road at Indiana. A little gritty Indiana team. Not good, but they fight hard. 38.5 point spread. Lonzo, I'm liking the big swingers this weekend. 38.5 is a lot of points, but I think they've started pushing in the right direction. Lonzo, I'm going to take your Buckeyes to cover. They're going to win by like 45 here.
Well, the defense has improved. CJ Stroud has been able to get the ball down. It's not floating on him as much, and he's getting better. So I'm going to agree with you. I'm going with Ohio State.
Ohio State's cover up 21.5, not 38.5. That's my next line. 38.5 is the Oklahoma at Kansas score. The Sooners switched to Caleb after they benched Spencer Rattler. 38.5 points on the road, though, at Kansas is a whole lot of points, Lonzo. You got the Sooners or the Jayhawks inside of 38?
Oklahoma was able to put up some serious points Yeah, I'm going to go with Oklahoma.
So am I. I'm taking the Boomer Sooners. The switch to quarterback made them look real good last week. I think they keep building. Tennessee is at Alabama. This line shocked me a little bit. I honestly thought it was going to be a wee bit higher, Lonzo. Bama 25.5-point favorites over Tennessee. Listen, Ole Miss just went into Tennessee, all right, and beat the Volunteers. Tennessee's going to Alabama. 25.5 is a lot of points for a Tennessee team that's looked pretty good the last couple weeks. Bama's going to beat them by about 38 points, Lonzo. Give me the Tide.
Yeah, I'm going with Alabama also.
Yeah, not a huge shock there, I don't think. I just wanted to see if maybe he'd be enticed. Just maybe. USC, South Carolina, on the road down at Texas A&M. The Aggies, a 19.5-point favorite over the Gamecocks. Lonzo, who you got? South Carolina needs to be inside of 19.5. He's thinking about it.
I am not going with South Carolina.
I can't do it. I'm sorry, Gamecocks. I love y'all. I really do. I'm pulling for you. I really am. But if you took Vandy to a thriller, even though I think Texas A&M is still overrated despite the win to Bama, they got this. They got this. ATM with the win. 2 more college games, then we'll flip, take a break, come back with NFL. LSU is at Ole Miss. LSU knocked off number 20 Florida last week, Lonzo. Ole Miss, however, went on the road and got one away from a decent Tennessee squad. Ole Miss is a 12.5-point favorite in this one. This rivalry is always weird. It always gives you some weird results. I expect the same. Give me the LSU Tigers to be inside of 12.5. So,
you know, I think with the news that Coach O is going to be gone, it's going to affect how the team plays, and I'm going to go against LSU.
Really, going Ole Miss. So we both agree with that. I think the team played out. I just think the guys still like Coach O, even if the school doesn't. So I wonder if they play a little extra something for a Coach O. And final college game, you knew it was coming. Clemson is at Pitt. Pitt minus 3.5 in this one. Clemson 0-7 in their last 7 against the spread. They are dogs for the first time since 2014. And Lonzo, I had intended on picking Clemson all week. I had intended on picking the Tigers to be within 3.5, maybe win the game outright. 62.5% of bets in Vegas coming in on Pitt, and 90% of the money is coming in on Pitt. You can go against Vegas when it's like 55, 60, 65%, but when 90% of Vegas money is coming in on Pitt, I can't go against that type of momentum. Pitt clears 3.5, Lonzo.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Pitt also. I can't believe it, but I am.
I know. That's so much money. So much money. Let's take a break, Lonzo, and I'll give you our NFL picks of the week when we come back on the Rob Brown Show on ESPN Upstate.
Zelina won that.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't see that coming. I thought
I didn't either. I thought they were about to give her a big push.
Goes from being fired to coming back to winning.
Yep.
Chance for rain, mostly cloudy, low 59. On Friday, mostly sunny, high 75, and sunny and 70s for the weekend. I'm meteorologist Jennifer.
I wonder.
My screen looks better on the monitor than it does on my dadgum laptop.
Wonder if Xavier Woods will actually win the King of the Ring after he's been pushing for it for so long. I don't think he will.
And then he'll go. I think that's your Xavier heel turn. I think
I think so too.
He just snaps.
They haven't had a new podcast on in almost a month.
If you are a small to mid-sized manufacturer, you and your team can't afford to miss this 3-day in-person Southeast manufacturing event. Whether your business is looking to get hands-on demonstrations, reduce costs, identify new markets, or maintain manufacturing competitiveness, SouthTech has the technologies, experts, and industry leaders you rely on to make critical connections.
Oldberg.
Daily keynotes, a digital transformation panel, and
A beverage, as they say in French.
attend SouthTech in person and you'll be entered to win a free $1,000 gift card. For more information about contest rules and to register, visit southtechonline.com and enter promo code RADIO, RADIO. That's southteconline.com, promo code RADIO. See you there.
This is for the men who never settle, the ones who believe only quitters and a game and a tie. The type of guys who choose the bar with the biggest TVs to overcompensate for theirs at home. This is the Lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks.
Are you looking for the perfect spot to spend your game day? Head to Twin Peaks, where the 29-degree draft beer is flowing. The kitchen is bursting with made-from-scratch fan favorites.
Don't knock yourself out, Goldberg.
This is how we do football season.
Rob Brown Show, what do you want to talk about? All right, hold on.
Of course. Featuring the Great Salt Marsh or Ocean Point, showcasing 10 holes along the Atlantic. Our friendly and knowledgeable staff can create a custom stay and play accommodations package in one of our fantastic vacation rentals. Learn more by calling 866-976-1381 or visit us at FripIslandResort.com.
Mad World Hunter Attraction is now open.
Well, my medicine has gone bye-bye, and I didn't bring any more with me. So,
What were you using? I got a couple of.
just sinus stuff. I got to be careful because it all messes with me
Yeah.
really bad. So,
We'll sprint through these picks. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. We can get Jimmy and Grade. If not, I'll tell him to hold to the break.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast. I need Indeed. Indeed.
yeah, I'm not sure you'll have time to get them.
Yeah.
You can wait.
And talk to candidates right from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get 75.
I'll tell you what, for being in his 50s, he's in tremendous shape. Can't fault him for that.
Yeah, I'm in my 50s. I'm not in tremendous shape. So, yeah. Is Gage there? Is his son there? Is he going to interrupt somehow?
Can we be honest about that whole thing? Lashley was right. All right. Dude just jumped on his back and attacked him in the ring. Technically, his son should be in jail.
Except for the fact that he had signed a contract.
Still, you can't just jump in the ring and attack a dude and expect nothing to happen. Lashley is correct in this feud.
No, I'm not disagreeing with you. I think
Goldberg's the heel here.
No, Goldberg's just standing up for his son, whether his son did the right thing or not.
No, if your son
How's that make you
out
the
and
heel?
attacks somebody,
But it doesn't make you the heel standing up.
so you're
for
threatening to kill this man for defending himself against your son, who was the attacker. If Cameron just walked up to me tonight and decked me in the face, and I started scrapping on him, you're telling me you jump in and take me out because you're just protecting your son, even though he was the guy who did it?
See, that implies that Cameron couldn't handle it himself.
You know what I'm saying.
I'm just not going to agree with you there. Yes, I know what you're saying. But he was just defending his dad.
Lashley wasn't attacking his dad. The match was over. Lashley was celebrating in the ring.
I can't defend poor writing.
Well, I got news for you about WWE then. All right, Jimmy, hold the line. We're going to come to you in just a second. Lonzo, I got to make our NFL picks. We're going to start at Cleveland. Baker Mayfield, interesting. Got a shoulder injury in last week's game. Has gotten a second opinion. Looks like he will be out against the Denver Broncos. Denver just can't find its way. Case Keenum stepping into QB the Cleveland Browns. The Browns 6.5-point favorites over the Broncos at home, but no Baker Mayfield. Lonzo, who you got? I know, right? This is the hardest game to pick of the weekend.
The thing is, though, the rest of the Browns team is pretty good. Case Keenum, he can win you a couple. I'm gonna go Cleveland.
Dang it! I wanted you to take Denver. I got to make some moves here.
Well, Denver is the team that I cannot stand.
They're also bad right now. They're very bad. I'm taking Cleveland as well. Washington is at Green Bay. How about Green Bay? A 7.5 2.5-point favorite. Washington, one of the better defensive lines in football when they're playing well. They've had some close ones the last few weeks. Washington needs to cover up and be inside of 7, Lonzo, against Aaron Rodgers. I own you. Can they do it?
No, Aaron Rodgers owns Washington also. I'm going with
Chicago is at, so am I. Green Bay wins this game by like a lot. Chicago's at Tampa Bay. The Buccaneers, 10.5 points. But Chicago's been coming on a little bit the last couple of weeks. They're good. Not there yet. Even without Gronk, I'm taking Brady to cover up 10.5, so. I like that this one was going to make you go on the spot. I do.
Yeah, because I'm going to go with emotion over logic, and I'm going to go with Chicago.
I go inside of 10.5. Houston's at Arizona. Not a big Kyler Murray fan is Lonzo. Arizona, 2 touchdown in the hook, 14.5-point favorites. They're home against Houston. I'll just make this one easy. Arizona's going to slaughter the Texans.
Arizona's due for a loss. They're not going undefeated the entire year, but it's not going to be this
one.
Yeah.
It ain't this one. Arizona wins for both of us. New Orleans, 3.5-point favorites over Geno, the fumble machine Smith, and the Seattle Seahawks. God, I hate picking my own team in spots like this. Seattle's a tough place to play, even when they're bad, but give me the New Orleans Saints on the road, Lonzo.
I am also going with New Orleans.
All right, and Carolina, minus 3.5. They got to win by 4 or better at the New York Giants. Can they do it?
Yes, they can.
I let Rashad talk me. I had New York Giants picked all day, but I let Rashad change my mind. Jimmy, I got a quick 2-minute break here. I will get you, and we'll talk Braves right after the break. Hang on for him, everybody else. We'll see you for the 3rd hour next on the Rob Brown Show on ESPN Upstate.
This has actually been pretty brutal.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was.
So holds bar, man.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was that.
No elimination.
That actually helps Goldberg because he doesn't have to be as technically sound.
Which he can't. So
Bobby had a chain around his hand.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, there's blood on the top of Goldberg's head. He got him pretty good. The heck was that? Was that you? That was weird. Oh, I know what it is.
Oh, it's Jimmy.
No, it's whoever's there. It's Thursday, so it's Router was in queue, so it was Mark. Or people getting ready for Mark. See, this is another case of the snot messing with me. Someone texted me, "Hey, this is Juan. Checking to see if you're at the station." And I'm like, "Who the heck is Juan?" But it's whoever's running the thing. I think the remote.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, that's right. It's Thursday. Good call.
Because I'm like, who the heck would be? Why is it? That's weird. I'm not answering that. And then I just was thinking about it. Like, oh, yeah, I guess I.
Just in case.
I think the rivalry between Tennessee and Alabama is, one of the old great rivalries in college football.
Tennessee and 4th-ranked Alabama.
Saturday night at 6. When you're home for the best games in college football, ESPN Upstate. And check this out.
Oh, Goldberg's limping. His left leg is not working. Wonder if that's real or not. Left leg is messed up.
The third, the final, the best, the money hour of the Rob Brown Show gets going now. Ladies and gentlemen, Wait for it. 7 minutes left to go between now and the end of the broadcast. Then we only got Friday standing between us and another glorious football weekend here in the Upstate. I am Rob Brown. Lonzo is on the ones and twos. Be a part of the show at 844-477-3776, 844-GSP-ESPN. Text us on the Ingles Market text line at 71307, 71307. Start your text with ESPN so we can read them on the air. You can call in at 844-GSP. ESPN, that is the number to be a part of the show. Jimmy was kind enough to hold through the break to talk a little Braves baseball, Ask and ye shall receive, listeners. Jimmy's back for his post-game breakdown. The floor is all yours, big dog.
So do I get 5 minutes having to wait for him?
I mean, it depends on how good you are.
All right. So first off, y'all will like this reference. To beat the man, to be the man, you got to beat the man, because I know y'all are wrestling fans. Ric Flair. So I think I told you with my prediction, you were picking the Dodgers, if I remember right. I'm standing to be corrected, but I said that I think the Braves are going to win because they played the Dodgers tough this year, and their pitching had gotten better at the end of the year. Those were some of the reasons. And then the other thing is, the GM for the Braves is a genius. I don't know if he did a Billy Bean thing, the Oakland A's GM, but it's like when he signed Eddie Rosario, I asked a friend of mine who is a Baltimore Orioles fan who, he follows American League Baseball. I said, who is Eddie Rosario? I think every Braves fan knows who Eddie Rosario is now. And as far as us being up 3-1, just like we were last year, completely different situation from last year. We got momentum. The Dodgers are hurting. They lost another player to injury with Justin Turner. So one more game, guys, one more game. And I hopefully I'm not jinxing it by saying that.
So I was looking earlier, and this is kind of interesting, I thought, Jimmy. At the deadline, Atlanta made trades, and they brought in 4 outfielders: Adam Duvall, Jock Peterson, Eddie Rosario, and Jorge Soler. 101 combined plate appearances this postseason between those 4 outfielders. They are hitting .341 with 6 home runs and 21 RBIs in 8 games. If Alex Anthopoulos isn't the GM of the year, I'm going to go ahead and say that the voting process is rigged, Jimmy, because that is an incredible number for those 4 dudes.
Oh, yeah. It's like I knew Adam Duvall was a good signing because he played well for us before he left to go to the Marlins. I knew he was a no-brainer. I said, we're going to make the postseason with Adam Duvall coming back because he gave us extra home run power. But I didn't see it with those other guys, and that's why I say that the GM is a genius.
Yeah, absolutely. Jimmy, appreciate the phone call, buddy. Great to have you on the show. Yeah, I mean, look, you can't – that number's wild, right? That number's absolutely wild. The Bravos bring in 4 outfielders at the trade deadline: Adam Duvall, Jock Peterson, Eddie Rosario, and Jorge Soler. In 101 plate appearances this postseason, they're hitting a combined .341, 6 home runs, 21 RBIs through 8 games. If Alex Anthopoulos isn't the GM of the year, I don't know who is. I don't know who is. Remember, this is a Brave team that lost Ronald Acuna when they were struggling to keep their head above the 500 mark in a division where nobody wanted to win, right? Remember, for a hot minute there, it was like every time that a team started to look like they had a moment, that they had an opportunity, they would just fall out. They would just fall out. So Alex Anthopoulos said, you know what? This division is wide open. This division is ready to go. This division's got some heat to it. We can win it. We just got to put the right bat in the right place. We got to put the right bat in the right place. And what did they do? They added 4 guys with 21 RBIs in 8 games between them. By the way, remember, Jorge Soler's got COVID right now, so he's not even in the lineup. So the majority of those RBIs and whatnot are from Jocktober, Sario, and Duvall. That's where most of these guys. It's incredible. That's incredible. Alex Anthopoulos is absolutely, without a doubt, the GM of the year. Texas says, guys, the line in tonight's Browns game has changed drastically. Now it's Browns -2. Really? Has it jumped that much? I looked it up this morning, though. I'll admit it. I may not have seen the most recent line. Let's see here. Cleveland Browns. Where are the Browns? I'll figure it out. Oh, there it is right there. Oh, no, he's right. He's right. The line is actually now -1.5 for the Browns. Wow. Ordinarily, I grab the lines early in the morning. I usually grab the lines early in the morning and hang on to them. There is occasionally, there's like a 1-2. I think the most drastic jump we've seen recently has been like a 3.5-point jump in the line. Well, so that's a 5-point jump in the line between early this morning and this afternoon, which means there's something that broke in Cleveland aside from Baker, it sounds like, that just hasn't made the round yet. Cleveland -1.5. I'm assuming since we both had them covering the 6.5 that we're both going to keep them covering the 1.5 here.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not changing them.
That's a big line. That's a big line, man. I'm intrigued to see what let me go look at that right now. Let me see what's changed in Cleveland. If anything, maybe that's just where the money's coming in. Maybe it's just the fact that obviously Case Keenum starting is a big chunk of it, right? Like Case Keenum starting is a big chunk, but the 5.5-point jump since the morning, that is nuts. There's a website, Lonzo, that tracks the biggest bets that are being made in Vegas by the books that report them. As of about 2 minutes ago, somebody put a $5,015.67 bet on the Cleveland Browns to cover up. Let's see. Did they put the line on here? Yeah, 2.5. 2.5. If it hits, $10,432 payout. Somebody loves them some Cleveland Browns, son. That's big time. That's big money. Let's do this. Fight Club was going to be massive today. Why? Because, I assume that. Lonzo gave me the eyes like, I don't know, maybe. We got Crown Royal happening right now on TV. Crown Royal. We got Crown Royal. I'm just ready to be off for the day.
I was going to say, is that a slip?
Yeah, I'm just ready to be off for the day. We got Crown Jewel taking place right now on TV. NXT has been big with, what are they calling the Halloween special this year?
Halloween Havoc.
Are they going back to Havoc?
Yeah, that's.
Did they call it that last year?
That's next week. Yeah, it's. I think it's a WCW paper.
It is. It's a throwback name. So you got Halloween Havoc coming up. You got Crown Jewel right now. We've had I think a really good run of AEW shows the last couple of weeks. Plus, we got to break down last Friday's SmackDown and Dynapage. So we got plenty. And I don't know if you saw this, Lonzo. Tyson Fury has said who he wants to fight and then hang up the gloves. We'll talk about that as well. Coming up next, it's Lonzo's Fight Club, your home for all things combat sports in the Upstate. Oh, Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt have also been listed out for Cleveland now. Thanks to Pittsburgh Tony for that text.
Offensive line's still good, though, right?
Yeah. But Case Keenum.
If that line is as good as they say it is, anybody could run behind it. We'll find out.
Case Keenum and the first two running backs out. Oh, I'm not gonna change it. I don't. Back after this on the Rob Brown Show, ESPN Upstate.
thing up.
Oh, have what?
On the
Eventually, Lonzo, I will learn how to produce a TV show.
Obviously, I'm gonna need help.
I got you. Well, if it's right under our feet, it's not really lost, is it? It's right there.
How many times have you lost something that's right under your feet and you can't find it?
Most of the times.
Yeah. Happens to me every time my wife moves something of mine.
For the ones who know safety isn't a catchphrase, it's a culture. And the ones who help make sure everyone makes it home safe.
Finn Balor's abs are the one reason I can get Courtney to watch wrestling with me.
As well as safety assessments and training to keep your facility safe and your people safe.
Oh, it's no sign of Kofi.
Trying to see who he's got on the back of his pants.
I just don't think he's gonna be.
Welcome into the fight. Right,
I'm not even ashamed. I'm not even going to hide it. We absolutely are.
You're right, and we shouldn't hide it because the boss is a fan. But if he wasn't a fan, he's not here. So there's that. All right, last week on the club, we talked about WWE going up head to head with AEW as far as SmackDown and Rampage going up against each other. And we said that it would be pretty bad for Rampage if they lost the ratings, and they did. So SmackDown ratings were down for both wrestling because people were actually watching baseball. And that hurt their numbers, that's more of a shock for me that people were actually watching the baseball. But after watching some baseball last night, it's been pretty good. It absolutely has. So you can see that
this series, but actually really both series, because the Red Sox jumped out to a pair, but then gave a pair back. That series is fantastic. Braves Dodgers has been great. I honestly, I feel bad for anything that's competing for sports viewership. Even the NBA is getting smoked right now, and the NBA will bounce back. But when these two series are as good as they are, plus if they finish as good as they've started, so the World Series is going to have some momentum.
Well, I have a ton of numbers. Some say that Rampage won. Some say that SmackDown won. It depends on the demographics and how they skew things. In the end, it was not a true fight because WWE wasn't on his regular network.
Right. WWE is not on its regular network.
And not everybody has FS1.
Right.
And in the article, but the snot won't get out of my way. One as compared to Fox, which everybody has.
Yeah, I think that's a big part of it. I also think that, again, when it comes to TV viewership, right, we have this discussion when we've talked NFL in the past, when we've talked NBA in the past, when you come to these conversations, you can break down demographics and hours and networks, and pretty much anybody can finagle an argument about why the thing that they liked was inherently good. It's why I didn't put a whole heck of a lot of stock into the 1v1 war as it is. This is a wrestling feud, I guess.
This is this is a meet me after school fight.
Yeah,
it's not a downright, both sides. It's a meet me after school fight.
Yeah, and
a lot of those meet me after school fights, you really don't know who won, so it's just whoever side you're on, you go with. No, my boy whipped your boy's butt, even though it was pretty much a draw.
Yeah, it's And honestly, first off, I don't know that there is a winner to this, right? Like I think, and again, as Lonzo and I have both said, if you're a wrestling fan, as I am, Lonzo, I know a lot of people don't believe me. I don't know if Lonzo believes me. I want both companies to do well. Wrestling is better when there is competition and there are easily accessible companies to watch to challenge each other. That's what led to the growth of AEW, and I want both companies to be good. But if there is ever going to be a long-term winner, it's going to be long-term. We're not going to get it by one Friday where 30 minutes bleed over each other.
Very, very true.
Although Ruby Soho did outdraw Roman technically in the key demo. So that's exactly what I'm saying. You can make anything sound like you want if you want.
I do know that AEW, the wrestlers were not talking a lot of stuff like they usually are after the thing. At least I didn't see a whole lot.
You'll notice Tony Khan's Twitter account went relatively quiet after the night was over. But again, they showed up in the key demo, which is what I think 18 to 35 male is.
It's 18 to 49.
18 to 49 male. And AEW technically won percentage-wise in that demo, but SmackDown did have way more overall viewership. So, it depending on which way you look at it, there's silver lining for both companies in this.
All right, as far as NXT goes, it's growing on me. 2.0 is starting to grow on me because you're seeing these characters being developed from the ground up, and some of them you look at them and go, yeah, this is going to work. And other ones you look at it and go, man, this is stupid. And I wonder how long they're going to stick with some of these gimmicks that they're giving these new wrestlers. But it's an interesting concept being able to see that. And I never watched NXT from its infancy when it was just on the network. And I believe it's something similar to this when they were first starting out developing characters and things like that before they decided to go mainstream and put them on regular TV. A couple standouts from this past week, obviously Braun Breaker, who is, he's amazing, and there's no way, there's no way that he stays down in NXT very long. Also, Gargano reappears, and I haven't seen him in a while. I was wondering if he's coming back.
Did you see his tweet, by the way?
No, I did not.
So there's a picture looking across the ring of him kind of bent down and giving a thumbs up to Dexter, and Dexter giving him a thumbs up.
That's what I was going to point out.
Yeah. So in that picture, they took a picture from behind him, and he put as his reply to the picture dropping thumbs up emoji, peach emoji, right? And somebody responded to that and said, did you just thumb up your own son-in-law's behind? And he said, no, I thumbed up my own. Great move. Great move.
Okay, I didn't know that's what the peach emoji was for, but now I do.
Yeah. The eggplant and peach emoji get some weird miles, is all I'm saying.
So, that was one of the better moments when he comes out and someone was cracking on Indy, and he's like, well, you don't need to worry about me. You need to worry about him. And he points, and they turn around, and there's Dexter standing right there. And then there's the Alliance. I don't know if they're going to do anything with it, but there it is. You're right. AEW has been pretty good, except for the botches, although they did address the botch right at the beginning of Saturday night when Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy were talking, and Jungle Boy was talking about how that horrible beatdown that Luchasaurus took. So they're making fun of the botch, and then the Elite come out, and then they actually do it this time, and they make up for it, except on concrete. I believe it was on concrete, which is a whole lot worse.
I've enjoyed that.
But them on Saturday night, it's hurting them.
Yeah. This is
because they're going up against college football,
which not even WWE is beating college football. It's just not. It's I like that feud, and I like that feud for two reasons. Number one, I mean these guys can all go. Number two, I think it does. Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy kind of have a look like if you just tune in for a little while. They kind of have a look of like the old school 80s wrestling, like let's cater this to kids, right? It's a dinosaur and a tiny Tarzan. Let's cater this to kids. But the two of them are both tremendous wrestlers, and to put them up against Adam Cole, Bebe, and the Young Bucks, I genuinely think it gives them a little bit more legitimacy than they might otherwise get. For those that are new to AEW, that are still getting into and learning AEW, That's the kind of booking that makes long-term stars out of it. I really like
I
it.
didn't like the pairing of Christian with them because I didn't think they needed it. But I do agree with you. They do have a look.
That was more for Jungle Boy than it was for the pairing of the two of them. Because again, like you got to work a little harder. You got to work a little harder to get an undersized wrestler over, right? You got to work a little bit harder, and to put a vet who still has adoration behind him like Christian with Jungle Boy gives him a rub that he otherwise wouldn't get. So I agree with what you're saying. As an AEW fan and a wrestling fan, I don't think Jungle Boy needed the help, but to pair him with that vet gives him the rub to the people that do.
All right, so WWE Crown Jewel is going on right now. We're going to talk about that a little bit. So if you don't want to be spoiled, then too bad. So the thing, but this is wrestling, and we both watched it. So, what do you know? What do you know?
X gonna give it to you.
So Xavier Woods has just defeated Finn Balor to become the King of the Ring. So
I did not think they were going to give it to him.
me either, because you thought it would be that quest where he just comes up just a little short, but no. So is he getting his push now, or is it just this it? Because King of the Ring really hasn't really done a whole lot.
Yeah, that's going to be the question. I think with having created the Queen, what is it? Queen's Crown. It's Queen of the Ring. Can we just call it Queen of the Ring?
Yeah.
For having created the Queen of the Ring this year, I kind of got the assumption like, okay, they're actually going to do something with this, because let's be honest, like when he was King Corbin, it was a joke, right? Like it went from a thing that used to be when Stone Cold and Macho Man and Booker T were winning it, it became like a prestigious title. It was almost
I think one who made that thing.
It's
changing
almost,
himself to King Booker and all that stuff. Yeah,
it was almost like its own title, right? But a title that couldn't be taken away from you. In the last couple of years, they brought it back, and it just kind of delegitimized. Xavier cares about this, like, and he's made no secret, even away from wrestling, he's made no secret about wanting to be crowned King of the Ring. And since you've added the Queen of the Ring title, I'm hoping that they will actually do something with it this time, as opposed to make it a mock thing. But that's the old 90s kid in me. So we'll see.
Well,
but good on X. I love Xavier.
So a little discussion off air, which you could have seen on the stream, about was the haircut made specifically for the crown?
It was,
and yes, it was, because that absolutely works. All right, a couple other matches. They started off the show with Seth versus Edge, which was an excellent match.
Really good.
Hell in a Cell match, really, really good. Edge defeats Seth, and they beat each other up pretty good. Then Mansoor versus Ali. Mansoor is not going to come in there and lose. And then someone comes out of the crowd, and I didn't figure out who that was, but I'm guessing it was an Olympian.
Yes, it was the guy who won the gold medal in, I believe, judo for Saudi Arabia at the Olympics.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, and then
which is huge if you're a Saudi Arabian. That's that's the equivalent of Mike Tyson coming out.
I will ask you this though: does this lessen, going back to Xavier Woods, the fact that he won it and he's out there alone? His guys aren't out there, and they're there.
Are they there? I didn't think they went.
Did they not go?
I'm pretty sure.
Well, Big E's there because he has to defend his title.
That's right. I don't know. Because when Kofi won the title, they were in the ring with him. When Big E won the title, the other two guys came out. This was Xavier's thing.
That kind of bothers me a little bit. I will also say that Corey Graves' mustache it's awesome.
That jacket's dope
too. Yeah, and see, Big E's actually coming out next.
Yeah, that's true.
Which may be the reason why he didn't come out, since he's coming out next, and he's probably going to have to do his lead in, because everybody wants to hear that. Let's see, RK Bro versus AJ Styles and almost
disappointing. Fine, but disappointing.
I didn't find it disappointing. Phenomenal elbow off the top, which I don't think you saw, and Randy caught an RKO in the air when he went to do the phenomenal elbow, and then Randy could have pinned him, but he tagged in Riddle, and I think that's the part you saw where Riddle got the pin. But that was Randy actually being a tag team partner.
Like a reverse 450 he did.
It was
sick.
It was nice, but we got to see Riddle on camel. I mean, that's
he came out. Then he left, and everybody's like, "Where's he going?" And then he comes back out on a camel. It's again, dude, he's one of my favorite characters going right now.
I agree.
One of my favorite characters.
Zelina Vega actually defeats Dewdrop and
That's the biggest shock
wins the
of all
queen.
this.
And it looked pretty smooth. I don't know if that's how she won it. The video we saw earlier.
Ready for my fantasy booking?
Okay.
Here's my fantasy booking. Xavier wins king. Zelina wins crown. Zelina starts working with Xavier. Like, hey, we're the queen and king of the ring. We should be working together. And she slowly heel turns Xavier away from New Day. And that's how I don't want New Day to break up, but if you're going to do it, I want it that way. Xavier, it means so much to Xavier to be the king of the ring that Zelina uses it to leverage him away from Kofi. And you've got a Kofi v Xavier feud where where Kofi threatens to take the crown away from Xavier.
Up, down, down is just tweeted achievement unlocked.
I like it.
And it's got a picture of Xavier Woods holding up the scepter with the crown. I like it too. All right. And the last match that we got to see was Goldberg versus Lashley. No holds barred match. In my opinion, Goldberg has redeemed himself for all the mistakes that he's made at Crown Jewel. This was a really good match, especially at the end when he spears him off the stage into obviously a prepared, thing, but still it was a pretty good drop.
It's a solid 10-foot drop down.
Yeah. And, a lot of things could go wrong there like they have in the past with Goldberg, but they did not. And Bobby Lashley putting a chain around his hand and hitting Goldberg on the top of his head, and it was cutting him. And it's not like death match or something, but it was pretty good.
Goldberg looked prepared. I'll give him that.
He did.
Give him that. I was concerned because Goldberg's had a couple of matches in his last few runs that have been less than superb. I was just shocked by, he pretty much kicked Bobby Lashley's behind from start to finish.
Well, here's what I wish. I wish he was done, but there's still one dream match left to go. And it's with one of the individuals that's on screen right now, who has said many, many times that his dream match is to go up against Goldberg, and that's Big E. So if he has another match, I hope it's with Big E.
Who wins this? McIntyre, Big E.
Big E. You don't think so? You think they give it to McIntyre?
Vince loves McIntyre. Loves him. No, I'm going to go Big E. If they go McIntyre, I won't be shocked because Vince loves this guy. He's the stereotypical Vince guy, if we're being honest.
Well,
he was gimmicky, but not over the top.
He was
Big
crowned
giant
from
bruiser.
the beginning of his career, and then he didn't do so well, and he got let go, and then he came back, and he was arguably much better when he came back. But they didn't know what to do with him when he was there in the first place.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
I do wonder how heavy that sword is, though.
If it's real, I used to own a broadsword, like a genuine broadsword. For many years I owned it. And
well, my son has
not like when they're called two-handed weapons, they're not joking.
My son has Frostmourne from Warcraft, and we got it at Comic-Con, and it weighs a solid 40 pounds. It's real heavy. It's blunted, but it ain't gonna matter. You swing that thing, it would hurt somebody. And I don't have a sword that long, but I do have a Lion-O sword that's probably 6 inches shorter than that.
I've cut my collection down to 3, and I have a girlfriend.
If you have 3 swords, is it still an arsenal, though?
I don't know what the criteria is.
Well, maybe if you have some daggers and some other things, because you never know when you might need them. All right, you had something else.
Tyson Fury coming off of his win over Deontay Wilder is set for what is likely his next fight. And, as of right now, it's not Alexander Usyk, actually. It's not Alexander Usyk. Apparently, we may very well be getting Tyson Fury's next fight to be against a former opponent that he beat Dillian Whyte. He's already beat Dillian Whyte once. Dillian Whyte's a good fighter. He actually had Tyson Fury on the ropes a couple of times in their fight, but Fury did the same thing he did to Deontay Wilder, took the punishment, and then came back and walloped him. If Dillian Whyte beats Otto Wallin at the end of this month, then we'll likely see Fury v. Whyte. But Tyson Fury has now said that his last fight, he wants Anthony Joshua. That's what he wants, and he'll walk away. He says, if win or lose, that's the fight that I will call it a career on. Here's the thing. I hate to say it, Zoe. That would be the fight to walk away, because if Fury beats Anthony Joshua, and it'll be interesting to see Because remember, Anthony Joshua has a rematch against Alexander Usyk. So likely whoever walks away as the champion from that fight, I honestly think it will be Anthony Joshua. I just don't think he was mentally prepared for that last fight. I ultimately think that that Joshua takes the title back from Usyk. But if Usyk wins, I suspect we'll get Fury v. White, then Fury Usyk, and then Fury Joshua down the road. Not because Joshua will deserve another shot at the title, but because Tyson Fury has said that's his last fight. That's the one he wants to walk out on. He wants to beat him because if he beats him, Lonzo, there is no other heavyweight. That's it. Tyson Fury is the best on the planet as it stands. If he wins that fight and he walks away, as much as I would love to see more Tyson Fury down the line, that's it, right? That's it. He's run through the competition. There is nobody else. It is done for him. I'll be interested. But if he beats Anthony Joshua, there's nobody left, right? Like, that's it. He's run the gambit. There's nobody left out there. Him walking away after Anthony Joshua, I got no problem with that.
Yeah, I don't either. And he seems like the type of guy, when he says he's walking away, he's walking away.
Yeah, a lot
He's not
of
going to do Mayweather and just show back up every time he spends all his money.
Yeah, exactly right. I was going to say, a lot of guys use the "I'm retired" as a paycheck, right? Like, I'm retired till a years from now when I'm unretired to fight. I think Tyson Fury, the dude's never really been the guy that says anything other than what ends up happening. So I would be fine with him walking away. I'd hate to lose the best heavyweight boxer on the planet. But what are you going to do? All you're doing at this point, Zoe, if he beats Anthony Joshua and if he gets all the titles, he gets all the gold. All that's going to end up happening is you're going to end up throwing the same 6 or 7 heavyweights at him until somebody catches old Tyson Fury and puts him down.
Right. So it's best to get 1 or 2 more fights out of the way and then just walk away. And he can walk right back into wrestling if he wanted to. Because he wasn't horrible.
I have just learned something, Lonzo, that I was unaware of as of this text that just came in. Xavier Woods, your current king of the ring?
Furman.
How did you not tell me this?
I thought you already knew that.
I literally did not know that. Apparently, in one of their podcasts, he claims that he wrote the F you all the time chant that Furman has actually ingratiated into their athletic department.
I don't know.
I'm going to go ahead and accept that as reality.
I was going to say, I don't know. He was also a cheerleader.
I mean,
which would go right there into writing in a chant because a cheerleader would do that sort of thing.
Anybody who cracks on him, I'd like to see you say it to his face.
Well, he said he did it so he could get more flexible for wrestling.
Wink. Wink.
I saw him one time in town. He was still with TNA when Circuit City went out of business.
What a sentence.
Yeah, he was.
What a sentence.
But he was coming out of Circuit City with a bunch of video games, which obviously, I mean, you can understand why.
Let's see if we can get Xavier on the show. That'd be rad.
I have had the pleasure to interview him one time.
He seems like a genuinely
It's
good
been a
dude.
few years ago. I threw him because I started talking to him about video games. And he wasn't expecting that. So he and I had a wonderful conversation with that. I was asked to come in because somebody else was interviewing him, and I kind of took over the interview
Corrective response.
because I knew what I was talking about and they didn't.
Correct response. All right, let's take a break. We'll come back here in just a minute. We got 2 segments left. Twitter trending topics to wrap up the show. You're listening to the Rob Brown Show on ESPN Upstate. This could be a very fun wrestling match.
Oh no, Big E looked awful serious when he came out.
Oh no, this could be a very fun wrestling match.
No, Xavier Woods, I got to talk to him all day. I mean, we went late, and I
suspect the problem if we got Xavier on the show would be that I'd be like, Zoe, move all the commercial breaks to the next hour. The third hour is just all the commercial breaks from the first 2 hours.
Learn all about these natural biologic treatments.
restorative, regenerative alternatives that can repair and restore damaged tissue in your knees, shoulders, back, and hips, and other joints as well.
So I apologize for being snotty, but what can I do?
No drugs and no surgery. Don't go under the knife if you don't have to. Call QC Kinetics. Get a second opinion right now. You got nothing to lose.
Call the local medical professionals at QC Kinetics, 864-448-3772. That's 864-448-3772. Non-surgical regenerative options are here. 864-448.
No, all three of them were here in the building a few years ago, and
The whole New Day?
Yeah.
Really?
And
They have a show in town?
Hendricks said that he had a long conversation with Big E about Iowa.
Yeah.
Yeah, and said it was an awesome conversation. He was saying he's a great guy.
I believe it. He seems like it.
I think they said Kofi talked the least out of the three of them.
I'm not shocked by that either.
Yeah, back in the day when they had him in the building, they would always be on Rise Guys, whatever wrestlers came in, and then later on, once we got ESPN, sometimes we'd get them to come down here, which is how we got to interview Charlotte Flair. So she's the only one that I've interviewed in person.
Will remember radio ads. So 82% of you listening will remember that this is an ad for ZipRecruiter. That if you're hiring, ZipRecruiter finds qualified people for your job. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get quality.
I don't know if you're over there and you don't get to see wrestling hardly except for once a year, and you're seeing all these no holds barred matches. Then you see a match like this with a couple big guys in there. Is it boring to you?
I mean, it depends on how brutal they're going to get.
Because Woods and Bauer was good, but they're smaller guys and do a lot more acrobatic moves. The skies are bothering me. It's the first time I've had to consider possibly walking in the rain up that driveway, and also the effects of the rain on the rest of the bridge.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Introducing Stitch Fix Freestyle, your personalized store. We're so you. 5G is here.
I might have to use the umbrella. Nobody will see me do it.
Are you anti-umbrella?
I am sick. Umbrellas are anti-macho.
Being wet from rain is macho?
Yeah, you don't understand. Mark Ryan gets it. We've had this conversation. Just because you don't get it doesn't mean that we're wrong.
I love weird stats in the NFL. I'll give you my favorite stat going in the NFL right now. Rushing yards leaders after week 6. Rushing yards leaders. Number 1 is Derrick Henry with 783 yards of rushing so far. Not a big shot. Guy's been killing it.
I think he got most of it in that last game.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
Number 3 on the list is Nick Chubb with 523 yards. You know who's number 2 on the list right now for rushing yards after week 6? 1 is Derrick Henry with 783. 3 is Nick Chubb. Number 2 is Derrick Henry only yards after contact yards. 587 yards after contact. He has 783 rushing yards. 587 of them are after contact. That is insanity.
Yeah, but this happens every year. People forget how to tackle him, and by the end of the year, when it gets close to the playoffs, they figure it out, or he just gets tired. I don't know which one it is.
Can I just say there's a huge difference between forget how to tackle him and are incapable of doing so, right? I have seen one open field Derrick Henry tackle that I'm like, that's how you do it. It was like 2 weeks ago. One cornerback figured go low, put the head up, get him around the knees. It's the only way to do it. Derrick Henry after contact is a monster.
No, the best way to do it would be a double leg takedown. You grab him around the thighs, you put your shoulder into his stomach, you thrust your hips, and you plant him in the ground. That's
Derrick
what you
Henry is 238 pounds of brick who runs mean. There is no such thing. The only way to take Derrick Henry down would be with a bulldozer. The dude is a beast.
See, I think a guy like Chase Young or someone like that, if they got a shot at him in the open field, that they could handle him. Proper technique will take him down. Most people are either scared or they just don't know how to tackle right.
I don't think
there's only one Henry. There's only one guy like him in the entire NFL. But once you figure out how to take him down, you should be able to do it.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to say I don't think you're putting enough respect on that young man's name right now, Lonzo.
Oh,
I'll be honest.
I've seen him bulldoze people. I completely get it, but proper coaching.
Dude's a monster. I mean, there's just sometimes that there's just no such thing, man. There's just no such thing, right? Like, what's the easiest way to stop a train? Stand in front of it and push back really hard. Doesn't mean you're capable of doing that. There is a way to do it. Just because there's a way to do it doesn't mean you can. And that's an apt comparison because stopping Derrick Henry is like trying to stop a train. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. All right. 844-GSP, ESPN's the number, 844-477-3776 if you want to sneak in here before we get out of here for the day. Basketball AP poll is out. Run this real quick before we get going. Baylor, despite losing to Gonzaga, is number one. They lost 4 starters from last year's title winner, including AP All-Americans Jared Butler and Davion Mitchell. The Bears will try to join Duke and Florida. Duke did it in the early 90s. Florida in the mid-2000s is the only schools to win consecutive titles since UCLA's run of 7 straight back in the late 60s into the early 70s. Duke and Kentucky back inside of the top 10. The Blue Bloods are back. The Blue Devils playing the final season under Mike Krzyzewski, 13-11 last year. Missed the NCAA tournament for the first time since 1995. The Wildcats ranked right behind the 9th-ranked Blue Devils at number 10, 9-16 last year, the worst and first losing record since 1988-89. North Carolina Tar Heels in there as well at number 19, their first season under Hubert Davis after Roy Williams retired back in April. The St. Bonaventure Bonnies. How about them being ranked for the first time in more than 5 decades? Number 23 in the AP poll, the first time they've been ranked since 1971. The Big Ten has number 6 Michigan, number 7 Purdue, number 11 Illinois, number 17 Ohio State, number 21 Maryland. The SEC has number 14 Alabama, number 16 Arkansas, number 18 Tennessee, and number 22 Auburn, joining the aforementioned Kentucky Wildcats. 5 ranked teams for both the Big Ten and the SEC. The ACC is up next with 4 ranked teams. Number 20, Florida State. Number 25, Virginia. Join the aforementioned Duke and North Carolina. The Big 12 has Kansas, Texas, and Baylor, 3 for them. The Pac-12 has 2 with UCLA and Oregon ranked in there. The Big East has 2 with Villanova and Connecticut. And the AAC has 2 with Memphis and Houston. College basketball just a few days away. We'll take a break. Twitter trending topics to wrap it up when we come back on the Rob Brown Show and ESPN Upstate.
Big E had a submission I hadn't seen him use before. He had his leg up around his neck and was cranking it.
I think he's done that before,
Yeah,
hasn't he?
I just haven't. I just don't recall.
I want to say he
seeing
did it once, and then he stepped over the neck and pulled on it. Ooh, the top rope bulldog. Don't see that often.
Come on, Big E, you can do this.
Woodruff crushed Emerald 42-6. Again, congratulations to the ESPN Upstate Player of the Week, Nemo Cochran.
The ESPN Upstate High School Player of the Week. The gridiron coverage is at ESPNUpstate.com.
Attorney Joe Cordell. New school, new job, new home. Change is hard and can leave you feeling isolated. And divorce delivers one of life's hardest blows. The relationships you counted on are suddenly gone. But you don't have to walk through this alone. For more than 30 years, Cordell & Cordell has guided men through the challenges of divorce. You're not alone. Call Cordell & Cordell. Online at CordellCordell.com.
Ooh, that's Claymore. That's probably it. Oh, good.
Some people treat investing like a game. Marcus by Goldman Sachs approaches investing with digitally managed portfolios that leverage Goldman Sachs strategies. So, do you want to play games or do you want your money to work smart? You can let it. Visit Marcus.com to learn more about saving, borrowing, and investing with Marcus by Goldman Sachs.
Investing involved risk and investments may lose value. Brokerage and investment advisory services by Goldman Sachs and Company, LLC. Member FINRA SIPC. Lending and deposits products provided by Goldman Sachs, USA, member FDIC.
Hey, back ball. OJ. Hot dog. Chicken. Good. Ribeye. Organic.
Hey, is he just reading his grocery list? Yeah. Ingles has curbside?
Oh, yeah. It's awesome. Shop.ingles-market.
Oh, yeah, it's awesome.
Shop Ingles curbside at shop.ingles-market.
Ooh, that's a good Halloween decoration.
That's freaky. Looks like some work. Oh, another big ending. Yay.
There you go.
It's all right. Drew's going to SmackDown where he can take it away from whoever wins between Roman and Brock.
East Tennessee State Buccaneers walk the plank this Saturday. Pre-game at 12:30. Kickoff at 2 every game on ESPN Upstate. 97.7 FM Greenville. 97.1 FM State. And on the other side.
For the ones who are always in the know. For the ones who keep things running. For the innovators and the problem solvers. Grainger offers supplies and solutions for every industry. Experienced staff at local branches and free access to experts to help answer your toughest questions. So whatever challenge you face, we have the knowledge and products to help. Call, hit Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
So a friend told me about Mr. Clean Magic Eraser, and his exact words were, "It changed my life. I used to spend a ridiculous amount of time trying to remove tomato sauce from inside our microwave and soap scum off the bathtub. It's like seriously magic, and my secret weapon for cleaning the kitchen, bathroom, doors and walls, and even keeping my sneakers clean. Mr. Clean Magic Eraser, greatest invention ever. Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean.
Mr. Clean Magic Eraser, the unicorn of cleaning.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? So your headlights are getting dim? With the seasons changing, now's a great time to change them. Upgrading your headlights can ensure you'll be safe and ready to handle darkness and fog. Oh, we recommend replacing in pairs. That way you won't have uneven lighting over time. You can get all of your lighting needs fast with our next day delivery and free same-day store pickup. Getting the job done, just got it. Restrictions and details at AutoZone.com.
To show you how easy it is to file a claim with Geico, we hired a scary movie victim. Oh no, a tree fell on my car, and there's only one thing to do. Trip over my own feet and pull myself across the lawn while yelling help at a barely audible volume. Sorry to interrupt, but you filed a claim with Geico, so you've got a designated claims team.
One of the ladies I used to work with at the TV station back in Pensacola when the Usos were doing their wrestling training in Pensacola covered a story where she went to the wrestling school that Usos were training at, and she got to take a frog splash from Jimmy and Jay at the same time. So they taught her how to take it, fold up so they can wrap around you and all that. And she actually took one. It was really cool. My boss comes to me and goes, "Why didn't you do that story?" Are you kidding me?
Put that in there.
us anytime at 71307. Use keyword ESPN followed by your comment. Local sports talk on the Ron Brown Show on ESPN Upstate. And now the Ron Brown Show presents Twitter Trending Top.
You know, surprisingly, for as bad as I feel, not as many mistakes as I thought there would be today as we get to the end of the show, because I am a professional and stuff. All right, the first thing that is trending.
And stuff.
Yeah, and stuff. In trending, to see Twitter trending topics. Yeah, that's it. The Undertaker is trending.
I got nothing. I know he had an interview last week where they were like, is there any chance you're coming back for one more match? And he was like, dude, my body can't give you what my brain sees happening, which, you know, it happens to all of us. So he said, no, I'm 100% done. He's also got the movie with the New Day that came out. I have no idea why he's trending, though.
He's actually in Saudi Arabia.
Is he?
To introduce, and he did this last night, Pitbull out of
to blank, fill in nouns.
Yes. Well, he came out and introduced Pitbull. That's why he's trending.
I got nothing.
Hey,
I got nothing.
That's easy money. You got to take that flight. You still get to hang out with the boys and all that kind of stuff. And then you just walk out and introduce Pitbull.
Oh, yeah.
Who I guess is still big. And
he's Mr. Worldwide.
okay, well, whatever. Maybe he took it old school. I don't know. Not that I would know anything about that. All right, the other thing that is trending is the Dune movie.
Drops this weekend?
Drops
today
at 6 p.m.
I have, Lonzo, zero knowledge of nor experience with the Dune franchise, but that movie looks like it's going to be incredible.
Everybody in it.
Yeah. Momoa's in it.
Batista.
Zendaya's in it, who's been really good in like everything she's done. I'm 100% going to see it. I have zero experience with the Dune franchise.
I'm going to go see it at my living room.
At your what?
At my living room.
You live in
at my living room.
All right, that's it for the show, ladies and gentlemen. Mark, Ryan, and Diesel are up next with Offsides. We'll be back tomorrow to do it all over again on the Friday edition. Give you the rest of our picks for the weekend and more. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. We'll see you back here tomorrow on ESPN Upstate. Later, brother.
ESPN Upstate, WYRD Greenville, WORD Spartanburg, WFBC FM HD3.
An Odyssey station.
Yeah, no, honestly, my words just stopped working there at the end, so I just went straight to make it look like I did that.
I'm Doug Brown. ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski reports 76ers guard Ben Simmons did not participate in an individual workout at the team facility today. Simmons was suspended for the season opener last night, a win on the road against the Pelicans.
Big time.
ESPN's Doris Burke.
As much as we've talked about the drama and how that's going to weigh on the Sixers, and it is, those are facts.
You're going to lose
tonight. The first
tonight.
question Doc was asked in the postgame was sort of the Ben Simmons situation. But I really believe that Joel Embiid is going to relish the opportunity to take on leadership in a very tough moment for them.